BJP, Congress, Aam Aadmi Party. Now, the AAP will be aiming to win the polls for a third consecutive term. Congress will be keen to regain their footprint and perhaps get a toehold into capital politics while making a comeback this time. Who will conquer Delhi ka dil is the big question. And what's up? What's at stake? Let's have a look at that. 70 seats are up for grabs as we signpost some of the key benchmarks of the numbers. 70 seats up for the grabs. It's not a two-cornered fight. The Congress is coming back into the fold here. And that's something that is worrying the Aam Aadmi Party. AAP defending 62 out of the 70 seats. They ran away with the mandate the last time around. 3 consecutive 7-on-7 scores in Lok Sabha polls for the BJP. So who have not been able to win in the assembly, but they have continued to dominate as far as Lok Sabha polls is concerned. Asset test for the Congress's relevance in the national capital and Delhi politics per se. Outgoing voters with welfare schemes, he said, let's do Revadi pe charcha, and unabashed about the Revadis for the people of Delhi. Arvind Kejriwal, BJP has been out of power since 1998, is banking on anti-incumbency. An anti-Kejriwal vote would perhaps land in the jholi of the BJP more than the BJP having a story on itself. They themselves don't have a tall Delhi leader, and that's something that could work against them. 25 to 30% decisive Purvanchali vote. Muslim voters dominate in 10 seats. Middle class voters in 28 seats. There's a lot to speak about Delhi. The BJP has not been able to crack Delhi. The Congress is wanting to come back in Delhi. And the Aam Aadmi Party, perhaps will it have its Sheesh Mahal moment this time around? They just don't want to talk about it. Zaka Jacob with me here on the magic wall. Pallavi Ghosh, Aman Sharma also there. But Zaka, Delhi has a magic of its own.
Oh, it really does. It votes. It's almost like bipolar, isn't it? When the Lok Sabha election happens, and for the last 3 Lok Sabha elections, Delhi has given rich rewards to the BJP, 7-0. When the Vidhan Sabha election happens, this is what it panned out like in the last time around in 2020. 62 out of 70 with a dominant vote share of over 50%. And last election was predominantly a 2-horse race. It was between Aam Aadmi Party and BJP. And when you have a 2-horse race, look at that. Between the two of them, BJP almost 40% vote share, Aam Aadmi Party more than 50% vote share. So more than 90% of the vote share is dominated by these two parties. But the seat share, it has skewed so much in favor of Aam Aadmi Party. 62 seats to Aam Aadmi Party, just 8 seats to the BJP. If you look at, the regions, whether it is East Delhi on the other side of the Yamuna, whether it is West Delhi, where you had the first bunch of refugees and settlers after partition, the Punjabi heartland of Delhi, as it were, whether it is the outer parts of Delhi, where you have a lot of Jat voters, the AAP dominance, whether it is in 2020 or if you were to go back to the first time they won a majority on their own, which was 2015, which is an even more dominant performance. It was 67 at that time. The BJP had just 3 seats. The BJP upped it to 8 seats last time around. Also, the story of the Congress, before I bring in Aman and Pallavi, the Congress has had 0 representatives in the Delhi Vidhan Sabha for the last 2 election cycles. No MLAs in 2015, no MLAs in 2020, just 4% vote share. This time around, will that be a critical factor as well? Aman Sharma is here, Pallavi Ghosh is here in our studios. We also have our reporters across the length and breadth of Delhi as we count down to this all-important press conference. Aman, so a controversy in the run-up to the CEC's press conference on the Delhi dates. This whole thing about additional voters, both AAP and BJP have been sort of hurling charges at each other. Do you reckon the election commissioner will sort of address that question today?
Well, I think, Zaka, it's a normal election commission exercise done before every election. In Delhi, I think this issue has got a life of its own because both parties are trading charges that voters are being added by either camp to get an advantage in the Delhi elections. I think it's a more of a noise just before the election dates are announced. I think there are larger issues here in this election right now. It's a very, very critical election, especially for the BJP. Which has not been in power in Delhi for the last 27 years. We have seen after the BJP bowed out of power in 1998, 3 terms of Sheila Dikshit, then 3 terms of Arvind Kejriwal. The essential politics of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal changed from this developmental politics, which Sheila Dikshit followed, to this freebie politics, free power and latest promise of his rupees 2100 to women. I think AAP has a leader's advantage, has I think a big advantage in Delhi because of that. But BJP this time, Zaka, I think is feeling that it has a better chance. Things are better. This election is different from the 2015 or 2020 election, basically because of 2 issues. Number one, the AAP's sheen is gone. It's no longer seen as that party which is very pious. It's simple living, high thinking, no corruption. There are serious corruption allegations which the BJP has milked during the Lok Sabha elections. Now there's the big Sheesh Mahal controversy this time, which the Prime Minister has spoken about on 2 occasions. Mr. Amit Shah has spoken. There's this CAG report. So in a way, the BJP has much more to talk about against the Aam Aadmi Party, I think, in these elections. But that
But does the BJP itself have its own organization set? Pallavi Ghosh, you would agree. Payal Mehta is with us. Anshul is also joining us. We'll have Arunima from Vigyan Bhavan in just a bit. Sherin is from the Aam Aadmi, from Sandeep Dixit's residence. We should have Sherin there. Akash Sharma should join us. But Pallavi, successive BJP presidents have sorted out the country. It's the largest political party in the world, but they've not been able to sort out Delhi. And the Congress now doesn't believe that it is the right time for it to claw back and pull away some of those voters who moved away from the Congress towards the AAP and pull them back. Will it truly be a three-way fight this time?
But Anand, I think the Congress decided to go into this entire battle a little bit too late and also very half-heartedly, because I think for quite some time there was a large section in the Congress who felt, let's replicate the Lok Sabha formula and go into an alliance with AAP. And if you remember the day when this news started coming out from the Congress camp by way of leaks that, we are having an alliance with AAP, it didn't take more than 2 minutes for Arvind Kejriwal to immediately tweet that no alliance, in capital no. So that was a major snub for the Congress party. And I think I was told that at an inner party meeting, Rahul Gandhi said that this is it. Now, we really need to go into this. And there were fuming leaders like Ajay Markan and all who were very angry about the fact that when Kejriwal was being arrested, why did our leaders like a Sandeep Dixit have to go to his house to show that solidarity when the liquor controversy or the, the entire the scam was in a sense exposed and based on a complaint which was made by the Congress. And look at the irony of it, the same Sandeep Dixit goes and contests opposite Arvind Kejriwal. You think the voters are not going to get confused? Of course they're going to get confused. You think the AAP is not going to mention this? Of course they're going to mention it. You don't go into a battle half-heartedly. Very quickly, Anand, yesterday was the first of the 5 guarantees. We were told the Gandhi family is going to be there. There was no one. There was no Priyanka Vadra. Rahul Gandhi is on a holiday. DK Shiv Kumar, who's now emerged sadly as a poster boy of a failed guarantee scheme of the Congress party in Karnataka, he was there. So you're giving it on a platter to the BJP, you're giving it on a platter to the AAP.
So the AAP says Congress is BJP's B team, BJP says Congress is AAP's B team, and they're trying to fit up. Payal Mehta, what's the talk? Will the BJP be able to sort out Delhi this time?
Well, most certainly that's going to be the topmost thing on their agenda, given the fact that 28-year-old drought needs to end. When the BJP has been able to form governments in various parts of the country, where people would not even think that the BJP would be able to ever do that, there will be a more organized unit, and that's the reason the BJP top leadership, Anand, has asked Virendra Sachdeva, the party chief, to stay away from contesting the election and focus on, making the other leaders contest the election, because, when the party president is confined to one particular constituency, it actually does not do too well for the other constituencies as well. The BJP does understand that there is a huge window of opportunity with the fact that corruption has hit Arvind Kejriwal in the face. Multiple leaders within his party have been behind bars for multiple scams as well. People have also called out the Aam Aadmi Party for promises like free water and probably free electricity, and they've got inflated bills which Arvind Kejriwal in his guarantee has now said that they'll be withdrawn as well. But why did they make these promises in the first place which could not be fulfilled? That is something which of course the BJP will obviously question, and that's the reason the Prime Minister calls the Aam Aadmi Party as Abda, basically, which means crisis. Abda nahi sahenge, badal ke rahenge. That's the slogan that the Prime Minister really has given as well. And of course there's a lot of onus as far as the Congress party is also concerned, because a weak Congress party means bad news for the BJP, essentially number-wise speaking.
Yeah, weak Congress party, yes, Abda ko badal ke rahenge, but within the BJP itself, there is a crisis of local leadership. They don't have a clear face, and that's something that the Aam Aadmi Party has been saying. Anshul, ek kahavat hai, chirag tale andhera. और वहीं पर अरविंद केजरीवाल अपनी रेवड़ी बांट रहे हैं in that space, because the BJP, all pan-India presence, 18 states, union territories, the NDA together, largest political party in the world, but in the national capital, they have no relevance when it comes to the state level politics. What's the mood in the AAP office?
Well, definitely, even if you look at these elections, the BJP has still not been able to come out with a clear list of candidates. Only the first list of candidates has been announced, and today the Election Commission is going to announce the elections for the national capital. While speaking to the local workers or the karyakartas of the Bharatiya Janata Party, there is definitely this sense that I could feel from them that yes, the manner in which there is a lot of tussle going on for those very crucial tickets that would be given out by the Bharatiya Janata Party. There is this confusion amongst the workers as well as to in which direction they need to go out and work, and as to in whose name do they need to go out and get those votes for. On the other hand, out here, if you speak about the Aam Aadmi Party has made this absolutely clear that they are going to fight this election with full force. They have already announced all the candidates today. The campaign song has also been launched by Arvind Kejriwal himself. So somewhere or the other, the Aam Aadmi Party is showing that they are fully prepared for these elections, and they feel that the issue of corruption and no work that has been done on infrastructure and pollution, these are some things that won't stick with the people, and the people will continue to vote for the Aam Aadmi Party because they have already done a lot for the people of the national capital, is what the Aam Aadmi Party claims.
Are they losing?
Water is something.
Are they losing? It's not even the dynamics versus the BJP and with the Congress party, but it's with the people of Delhi. We'll come to that in a bit. Sharon is right outside Sandeep Dixit's residence. Is he for Arvind Kejriwal or against him? Has he decided? The former Chief Minister's son, Congress leader Sandeep Dixit.
Well, Anand, as far as Sandeep Dixit is concerned, he has in fact decided that he is going against Arvind Kejriwal in all-fledged, because before this he was not really willing to contest against Arvind Kejriwal. There was in fact convincing that was done by the Congress leadership, because the Congress leadership doesn't want to show it as a friendly match between the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party. They want to make a comeback when it comes to the national capital. They do understand that they are on the weaker side, but a comeback means they want at least few seats in the national capital. For past 2 assembly elections, they have been getting 0 seats in the national capital. So that is something that they want to change this time. Apart from that, the vote bank, the vote bank is something that has been taken by the Aam Aadmi Party that they need back, is what we have been told. And Congress Party is going to, of course, make sure that the vote share is going to increase. There are multiple strategies that has been put in place. One is, of course, a similar kind of guarantee that was announced in Karnataka, like the Graha Lakshmi scheme. Yesterday, they announced Pyari Didi Yojana in the national capital. Apart from that, there is also plan to bring the Punjab MLAs and MPs to campaign in areas where there are sick population, so that they can make them understand that what has really the situation in Punjab, and it should not be repeated in the national capital. So they should not be voting for the Aam Aadmi Party. But interestingly, there was going to be a press conference that was done by Ajay Makhan, where he was calling Arvind Kejriwal anti-national. Last moment, the press conference was cancelled, because what we are being told is that the Congress leadership doesn't want a full-fledged war with the Aam Aadmi Party. So is it a possibility that there is a post-alliance that could be possible between the Congress and the AAP after the election results are announced?
No, but for that, the Congress has to win some seats. For a post-alliance and a scenario like that, you at least have to show some spine and some fight in there. Akash,
the Congress used to be the party of the poor nationally. Today, of course, BJP is the party of the poor. It's the welfare party. Mr. Modi has made a Labharti vote bank, as it were. But if you look at Delhi, it's the Aam Aadmi Party, and their major support base is in what we call these JJ clusters or Juggi Jhopadis, the slums in Delhi. If you look at, the poorer sections, the lower section, the lower middle class that votes for the Aam Aadmi Party, whether it is in parts of East Delhi, some of these were the riot-affected parts, Trilokpuri, Seelampur, etc. These are parts where you have a lot of, slum clusters, a lot of poor people who come from UP and Bihar and other parts who are sort of packed like packed into these slum clusters. So the AAP does well in these constituencies which are on the other side of the Yamuna, or on these outer and South Delhi constituencies like Deoli, which is a reserved constituency. You have Ambedkar Nagar, which is again a basti which has a lot of Dalit population there, Sangam Bihar. So these used to be where the Congress used to get a bulk of its sort of vote bank in Delhi from. But AAP has managed to take that vote bank away almost en masse for the last 2 election cycles. The BJP, on the other hand, had a stronghold, for example, in West Delhi, which used to be the initial sort of hub where the refugees after the partition came and settled in places like Rajouri Garden, Harinagar. These were all seats which, and these were traditional middle class, middle income households, traders. The BJP used to be the Baniya party as far as Delhi was concerned, but there again, the AAP has made significant inroads in the last 2 election cycles. Out of the 28 seats, which are basically middle income, middle class seats. The Aam Aadmi Party had 23, again at 54% vote share. So the BJP will be hoping that some of that middle class, and the middle class, of course, one story that resonates with the middle class always is corruption. And I think that's where the BJP is hoping this whole Sheesh Mahal business will
But
will
the middle
explode.
class, one thing that also resonates is no electricity bill. Any amount of revdi. It was free Wi-Fi earlier, now it was free electricity bill. Now this time around he's come back and promised something more free and he's saying 6 revdis. So the middle class in Delhi sometimes turns around and says, abhi free mein mil raha hai, abhi le lo, baad mein milega ki nahi, pata nahi. Akash, where are you? Before we go across to Arunima joining us from Vigyan Bhavan. Yes, Akash. Akash, can you hear me? Where are you?
Anand, if you can repeat. Yes. I'm at New Delhi railway station, Anand, and just few minutes back we had Ashwini Vaishnav, Rail Minister, and Viren Sachdeva, Delhi BJP Chief here. They have announced several sort of schemes for auto taxi drivers here at New Delhi railway station. You see, Anand, when we talk about auto walas here in the capital city, so we have around 1 lakh auto drivers, and along with these 1 lakh auto drivers, they have, of course, their families. So we have 1 lakh families, and it is one important factor. Every time during elections we saw in 2014 and 2015 when Arvind Kejriwal was contesting, at that point in time he used to go with auto walas. He used to say that these are my brothers. This time around auto walas are asking questions not just to Aam Aadmi Party but also to Bharatiya Janata Party, because they are expecting some sort of schemes for themselves. This time around today we had in fact Ashwini Vaishnav announcing that not just reduced parking fares will be given to these auto taxi drivers, but they are saying that once BJP will come to power, they will be announcing several sort of other schemes to the auto taxi drivers here in the capital city. So this time around, parties are trying to convince voters, and especially voters like auto walas here in the capital city, to somewhere vote for them. Bharatiya Janata Party has been saying that corruption is one issue that they are going to take on ground. In some time from now, we are going to have announcement for the dates of assembly elections here in the national capital territory of Delhi, and this fight is going to be interesting. Anand.
Who's going to be able to fulfill these promises, and how much is it going to cost the exchequer? Anyways, it's going from our pocket only, by our taxpayers' money, and going into somebody else's pocket. But overall, in the economics of things, how is it working? But the larger issue, Arunima, is about these bogus voter IDs. Quite a lot of them belong to illegal immigrants. Is the Election Commission going to talk about it and elaborate on it during their briefing as they announce the poll dates in about 40 minutes from now?
I think after the dates, that will be the most important question to the Election Commission. Opposition in election after election, be it Lok Sabha, be it the Maharashtra elections, or in the run-up to the Delhi election, they have been raising questions about the election process. Election Commission so far has dismissed all charges made by the India Front parties against the process of election. But this time around, the electoral list, the voter list itself, is being questioned. I think the Election Commission is also going to comment on that letter that has been written by the Delhi Election Commission officials to the Delhi police seeking protection. They say they're feeling threatened by the constant pressure that is being exerted by the senior leadership of the Aam Aadmi Party. The BJP has objected to the way in which Aam Aadmi Party has raised aspersions on the Election Commission officials as well. So all of that will be in the ambit of answers when Rajiv Kumar, the Chief Election Commissioner, takes questions from the press. But this is a very important point, Anand. What is being done here by the Aam Aadmi Party is to build this perception that you have to be vigilant. The Election Commission is acting. This has been the allegation of Aam Aadmi Party, the Congress and the opposition always, that the Election Commission is not, acting impartially, and therefore you have to be vigilant. On the other side, the way the BJP has retorted, questioning the fresh names that were to be added to the electoral list, questioning as objectors,
Right.
They are trying to build this narrative that Aam Aadmi Party is no longer a Kattar Imandar party. There are allegations of corruption against their top leadership, and what they are doing with the electoral list is also part of that corruption. So that's the bigger narrative being drawn by both sides.
Well, we'll see. Is it a very long and detailed briefing that comes forth from the Election Commission after the announcement of the poll dates on the voter IDs, these allegations? There's lots to talk about, because this Delhi electoral politics in this game is very straightforward, like the jalebi for the Aam Aadmi Party, and as complicated for the BJP and the Congress Party as the famous jalebi. We're going to take a short break on that note. We've got our guests Karan Verma, Ravi Srivastav and Advait Akala joining us along with Aman and Pallavi. Stay with us.
Justin Trudeau's political future in jeopardy, he's now made the bold decision to resign, paving the way for new leadership in Canada. Now, after weeks of pressure, both outside and from outside and inside his party, as well as a diplomatic standoff with India, Justin Trudeau has now stepped down as the Prime Minister of Canada and the leader of Liberal Party. Former Prime Minister Trudeau ally Jagmeet Singh, the head of the NDP, has now threatened a no-confidence motion after pulling out of the minority government. This move also comes ahead of Trump taking office in the United States, with Elon Musk tweeting 2025 is looking good. Meanwhile, Trump wasted no time in responding to Trudeau's resignation, brought up his long-standing suggestion that Canada should join the United States as the 51st state. Now, this creates a major twister in Canadian politics ahead of the general elections later this year. But first, listen in to what Justin Trudeau had to say.
We are at a critical moment in the world. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election. I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process.
Well, joining us on the broadcast is our colleague Siddhant. Very good morning, Siddhant. Siddhant, facing mounting pressure from both allies and opponents, Justin Trudeau has finally stepped down. Now, what will be the implications to begin with after Trudeau's departure, especially for the upcoming general elections in Canada?
Well, after his departure, in fact, he has announced that he will resign in March. So, technically, he's a lame duck interim Prime Minister of Canada, and he's no more the leader of his party also. Until the party gives the new leader and the Prime Minister, he would be holding those two portfolios. And Liberal Party will open the leadership race, and perhaps the senior leaders of the party could participate and could run in the elections to be the leader of the Liberal Party. So that is one thing which will happen, and it would take approximately 2.5 months for a party to decide a leader. And so what Mr. Trudeau has done is that he has provoked the session, the parliament, until March 24. So until March 24, there cannot be any motion brought against him, because Jagmeet Singh and Conservatives were planning to bring motion against Justin Trudeau in the first sitting of the Parliament. And the first sitting of Parliament was expected to happen in January, this month. So now the sitting will not happen this month, not in February. It will happen in March. So by then, the Liberals will have a new phase to go into the elections, and the financial bill is also expiring in March. So the House would sit for that. And, maybe in March, we could see that the fresh elections will be announced in Canada, because in the first sitting, the opposition parties could bring motion against the Liberal government, because even yesterday also, the Bloc party said very clearly that this is not going to solve anything. We call for a fresh election. In fact, the same has been the position of the Jagmeet Singh's NDP and PRA Polebras Conservative Party. So all three parties are convinced that it's time to call early elections. But Liberals don't want to get into elections right now, because they know there's a lot of anti-incumbency against them, especially against Trudeau. So they want to get into the new elections with a new face of the party. So, that is why they are buying time for next 2 to 3 months. So now Justin Trudeau will remain as a lame duck interim Prime Minister of Canada. He would not have any powers. There would not be any parliament sitting for next 2 months until March 24. And post that, we could expect Canada to go in elections.
Right. Siddhant, help us understand, and let's basically talk about Trump's immediate response. Canada must merge with US together, and what a great nation it would be. Now, with Trump suggesting that Canada should merge with the United States, what are the likely possibilities, and how do you think this bold proposal will resonate with the Canadian voters, especially in the light of Trudeau's resignation?
Well, Donald Trump has been trolling Justin Trudeau in Canada since winning the elections. In fact, if you remember the first meeting between the two leaders at Mar-a-Lago, when Trudeau went to meet Donald Trump, perhaps to speak about the tariff issues and other issues. So even after that, also he addressed Trudeau as Governor Trudeau and Canada as the 51st state of United States. Perhaps Trump again writes on social media and says that and takes full credit of Justin Trudeau's resignation, because he has to say that Trudeau has resigned because he knows that the tariffs and the subsidies that America offers to Canada to be afloat will not be offered anymore under my regime, under Trump's regime, and because and out of fear of that, Trudeau has resigned. So again, Trump has mocked Justin Trudeau.
With Justin Trudeau's political future in jeopardy, he's now made the bold decision to resign, paving the way for new leadership in Canada. Now, after weeks of pressure, both outside and from outside and inside his party, as well as a diplomatic standoff with India, Justin Trudeau has now stepped down as the Prime Minister of Canada and the leader of Liberal Party. Former Prime Minister Trudeau ally Jagmeet Singh, the head of the NDP, has now threatened a no-confidence motion after pulling out of the minority government. This move also comes ahead of Trump taking office in the United States, with Elon Musk tweeting 2025 is looking good. Meanwhile, Trump wasted no time in responding to Trudeau's resignation, brought up his long-standing suggestion that Canada should join the United States as the 51st state. Now, this creates a major twister in Canadian politics ahead of the general elections later this year. But first, listen in to what Justin Trudeau had to say.
We are at a critical...
Back live in our special coverage in the build-up to the announcement of the poll dates for the state of Delhi, a place where the Aam Aadmi Party has ruled roost over the last decade plus. What a phenomenal rise for the AAP has it's been in just about a decade. 2012, after India Against Corruption and that entire movement, the birth of the Aam Aadmi Party, and it's moved not just from Delhi, it's increased its footprint into Punjab, a case study in itself, but more importantly, traditional national parties who believed that this was their gada, BJP versus Congress, they've been able to change the dynamics. Let's look at how Delhi has voted in the past quickly before we bring in Zaka on the magic wall to elaborate a little more. The capital vote metrics, the BJP has always had a 33-34% steady voter base. What shifted has been the Congress base, but what's also added to the Aam Aadmi Party is its own voter base, and that's why they have been able to steadily go up to about 50% vote share. Look at the AAP climbing from 29% in 2013, going up to 33% and then 54%, dropping to in the Lok Sabha to 18%, but back with the Vidhan Sabha at 54%. This 50 plus vote share, 50% plus vote share in the Vidhan Sabha is something which the Aam Aadmi Party believes is its cornerstone, and the BJP has not been able to dent that. It tends to reverse when it comes to Lok Sabha, Zaka.
So
and the Congress has not been able to grow in the last decade at all. They've not been able to do much.
What that vote matrix basically shows you is there's a 25-30% voter. It's the same voter who votes for the BJP in the Lok Sabha election and the Aam Aadmi Party in the Vidhan Sabha election. So that same voter is able to make that distinction. For whatever reason, I'm not going into the reasons, but for whatever reason, the same set of quarter to a third voter base is moving from BJP, voting for BJP in Lok Sabha, to voting for Aam Aadmi Party in the Vidhan Sabha. I just want to run you through two significant communities, voter blocks, which the Aam Aadmi Party seems to have sort of had this hold over in the last two election cycles. One, of course, is the Purvanchali voters, people who've come from eastern Uttar Pradesh, from Bihar, most of them on what we call the Jamna Par side, which is the eastern side of Delhi. Out of 25 seats, the Aam Aadmi Party last time around won 21 seats. This was a place where when Sheila Dikshit used to contest and used to run Delhi, this was a Congress stronghold. The east of Yamuna voters, particularly the voters who've come from eastern Uttar Pradesh and from Bihar, there the Aam Aadmi Party is dominant with a 53% vote share. And then, of course, there's the Punjabi voter. Delhi was always known as a Punjabi city, the immigrants, the refugees who came after partition, settled largely in the western parts of Delhi, from Old Rajendra Nagar, Patel Nagar, going all the way to Rajouri Garden, etc., which used to be a BJP vote bank, which used to be A, the trader class, and B, the refugees from partition, which used to be a BJP vote bank. That again has gone almost en masse to the Aam Aadmi Party. Out of 13 seats, all 13 won by the Aam Aadmi Party last time around. So if the BJP is hoping to make some inroads, these are two voter blocks that they will be hoping to target. In West Delhi, the Punjabi voters, and in East Delhi, the Purvanchali voters.
But they never have had their leadership settled, Zaka, and that's something which the BJP has struggled with. The Congress still had under Sheila Dikshit and successfully. But since the 90s, the BJP has struggled to have very strong local leadership. Aman, Pallavi, do you think they'll be able to sort this out this time?
Well, I think leadership question, Anand, definitely the big issue for the BJP. They don't have a state leader who has the charisma to be like a pan-Delhi leader. They tried with Kiran Bedi in 2015, projected her as a CM face. Kejriwal got his highest ever majority at 67. Last time, BJP went in without a CM face in the name of Prime Minister Modi. Still, they couldn't crack it. I think this time, Anand, the BJP is trying a different strategy. They have refined their strategy, I would say, because last time, if you see 2020, the Prime Minister was speaking more about national issues in the Delhi election. This time, Prime Minister is still the face, but I think Prime Minister is speaking more about local issues. Whenever you last seen Prime Minister Modi speaking about potholes, sewer lines, DTC fleet, water logging, water scarcity in Delhi. So I think BJP has realized that Delhi's voters vote for Mr. Modi nationally, but vote for Mr. Arvind
Kejriwal, Desh ke liye Modi.
Desh ke liye Modi. But that is why I think the BJP is turning its strategy. Though the face is still Mr. Modi, the election so far, I think BJP is fighting a very good localized campaign, trying to touch the pulse of the voter, trying to tell them, look, these are your day-to-day issues. We are aware of it. We will solve it. But that said, Anand, I still feel that the face is a big challenge for the BJP. And second, of course, the AAP's freebie schemes.
More than the face, Aman, and quickly, Pallavi, before we go to Advaita Kala and to Karan Verma and Ravi Srivastav, is the organization an issue? Organizationally, the Congress and the BJP have not been able to sort themselves out in the last decade and 2 years.
Well, I mean, the Congress did have a strong organization at one point of time. They allowed it to be frittered away. The BJP, yes. I mean, parties like the Aam Aadmi Party, the Trinamool Congress in West Bengal. See, what is similar between the two of them is they have a very high-profile face. The problem why the BJP never cracked it in West Bengal is because they did not have a counter to a towering face like Mamata Banerjee. It's not that she is hugely popular. It's not that people don't want to change, but who is going to be the face? I think in Delhi also the similar problem vis-a-vis Arvind Kejriwal. Agar Kejriwal ka opposite koi hai, to kaun hai? And also look at the way these smaller parties like AAP and TMC, they know it's a do or die battle, so they began very early. Kejriwal, out of what was a compulsion for him, he made it out to be as if, I voluntarily gave up becoming a chief minister. Mujhe aap log decide karoge whether I should become the CM. Those kind of stuff. So he began early on the ground. That advantage is there with AAP plus the fact that you are in the sitting government.
But how many times will he go?
BJP, the recent state elections it won, whether it was in Haryana, certainly in Madhya Pradesh last year in 2023 when it won, they declared their candidates much earlier. This time around in Delhi, I don't think they've even declared half the number of candidates.
29 candidates so far. So that is also a struggle. BJP, it seems a bit on the, I think they are a step behind. When it comes to declaring candidates, only 29 candidates declared, also on these guarantees. Because AAP has already declared rupees 2,100 for women. Congress has also declared it. I think the BJP could have declared it earlier. I'm sure BJP is going to declare it in their manifesto. But I think these things could have been done a bit earlier by the BJP.
No, and this is the aspect. Figuring out the dynamic and getting the right leaders and also creating a conversation where the BJP emerges as a strong opposition, at least with local issues. They just seem they've not got it right. But with Arvind Kejriwal, how many times will he go back to the people of Delhi and say, I'm sorry? And how many times will the people of Delhi look the other way and say, all right, we forgive you? Is this entire aspect of Sheesh Mahal, the perception aspect around Arvind Kejriwal no longer being the muffler man, the common man, the man who travelled in an auto and a Maruti 800, has that now dissolved? And will that wean the voter away from the AAP? Advaita Kala.
Happy New Year to all our viewers, and happy new election. We're ready with the new election already in the new year. But, I think AAP has never been this weak in the last 10 years. They've had they've stormed the polls in the last 2 election cycles. But this time around, I think the personal brand of Arvind Kejriwal has been hit. All of the liquor scam, Sheesh Mahal, these are things that have hit him directly. And I think that is where the opportunity lies for the Congress and the BJP, is the fact that Arvind Kejriwal, who has pretty much, edged out every other leader of any significance from his party and made himself the whole and soul of that party, is today on weak ground because brand Kejriwal of the Aam Aadmi, that brand of the Maruti Wagoner brand, I won't live in a big house, I won't get a convoy, all of those things have been hit badly this time. So there's a little bit of space here for there to be a sizable opposition to up on the election. But again, this has to, like you rightly pointed out, who is the face, who is the challenger? These are very genuine things because Delhi as a city is very political. So it's used to having someone of their own, be it a Sheila Dikshit or a Kejriwal. So who is it going to be of their own after Kejriwal? I think that's really going to be interesting.
Is the Delhi voter so much beholden to Revdi Ravi Srivastav? Do you believe more than the Maharashtra voter, more than any other voter, or all voters like that? मेरा क्या फायदा है? मुझे कौन क्या कितना दे रहा है उसको मैं वोट दूंगा या दूंगी?
Good afternoon, Anand. First of all, who is this? I mean, who is the person in the Indian politics who started all this? Prior to that, where did the concept of health, education, electricity, water, for elderly people, Tirth Yatra, or women welfare, or women free passes in the buses, who had these ideas in 2013, 14, 15? Nobody? Who brought this? I think if Kejriwal said, we are going to change the politics, he meant it. I mean, no need to remind us again and again that blue Maruti car, Wagoner, and that tutti hui chappal and the half t-shirt and this and that. No need to remind that again. He was an activist. He was not a political leader that time. He turned into a chief minister when people appointed him. People took him. And as a chief minister, this Sheesh Mahal bogie, if you call a 33 crore house a Sheesh Mahal, and that too a CM's residence, then I should call 500 crore house of Prime Minister a Taj Mahal. I mean, creating these kind of stories are not going to work. If it was so, 2020 you discovered that there is a gold-plated, toilet seat. What are you doing for 5 years? Why didn't you file a FIR? Why did you make a corruption case? Why did you arrest the people? Does the Chief Minister or Prime Minister construct a house there? No, it's CPWD does it. A chief engineer does it. A contractor does it. Catch hold of them, book them, fire them, recover from them. Why name Aam Aadmi Party did it? Because they had promised they will not have a house, they will not have a toilet. So I think these bogies are not going to work. Another scheme this time which he has announced, that Sanjeevani, 70-year plus people, no income bar. 10 lakh people are there in Delhi of this age group, 70 plus. It's going to work wonders for them. Sanjeevani,
he has made all these announcements, but the thing is that 1,000 rupees which he said he'll give to the ladies has not yet reached them. There is no approval, it's not passed and it's not gone. So nobody said please don't do it. He himself said I won't do it. That's the point, Ravisha. Nobody is grudging you whatever somebody does, but when they say they will desist from it, and they will be as Aam Aadmi as they can be, and that's why it's called the Aam Aadmi Party. And then they cease to be that 5, 7 years, 10 years from there. Will the people also look at this and say, is he really walking the talk? That's what my question was. Nobody is grudging him his house. He's most welcome to it. But that's also from where it's come. It's 400 times the estimate approved or the tendering cost of around 7.9 crore, and what cost is about as per the CNAG report. So that's a different part. But I'm taking up into the politics of perception. Karan Verma.
So Anand, at the outset, let me tell you, this is not a three-cornered battle. It's a one-on-one battle between Arvind Kejriwal and AAP versus the people of Delhi. This is the single worst government in any state perhaps, and I can bet on statistics putting every metric out there, whether it is education, whether it is healthcare, whether it is water. Education, 2/3 of the schools in Delhi, 1,024 schools, do not have a principal or a headmaster. 80% schools, you cannot study science beyond class 11. Classrooms have been counted as toilets. He promised 500 schools, opened 28 schools. Today in Delhi government hospitals, one MRI, you have to wait for 6 months. One X-ray machine for 10,000 patients. Don't even get me started on the ghost patients and the Mohalla clinic scams. The water that people here are drinking. I mean, this is an election about saving Delhi. No government has done more harm to a city, to a state, as this government has done. I'm even leaving aside Sheesh Mahal and this the splurging he's done. Purely in terms of delivery, this man needs to be voted out. People of Delhi have realized that. Yes, BJP Delhi has lagged behind. They could have, come up with a better narrative right now. They could have come up with a face. But despite all of that, there is no way that a person who has done this sort of disservice, who can't even enter the CM office, who cannot sign files because he's out on bail. We don't even know if he can continue to be the CM after this because things don't change. He's still an accused of liquor scam. He's still out on bail. So when the Prime Minister said AAP means Apada, it actually fits in the bill. 28 people died this year, Anand, only because this man failed to desilt the drains, and he admitted it on the MCD Civic Center. People are dying today because of the misgovernance of this government. It has to be voted out.
Interestingly, if the Chief Minister is Atishi, why is the conversation point around Kejriwal?
Because he said it's me. He said it's a referendum on me.
So if it's a referendum on him and if he gets the votes, can he contest elections and can he become the Chief Minister when he's an accused on bail? What are the aspects? That's glossed over. I will promise you this, but does it have cabinet approval and also approval from the LG's office or the Delhi administration? You have to run this in partnership. Can you go out and say, Aaj se le lo ji? Whereas there is a counter offer saying that no, nothing has been passed. So please don't come lining up at the hospitals because it's not passed and we can't give you. So there is the aspect of credibility. Like I said, it's perception. And is that going to hurt the AAP this time? But if it's going to hurt the AAP, who's going to gain? Because is there a challenger in the true sense? We'll talk about that and more. Just about under 20 minutes to go before the election commissioner sits there to announce the poll dates and perhaps also throw light on this entire aspect of bogus votes. Stay with us.
With Justin Trudeau's political future in jeopardy, he's now made the bold decision to resign, paving the way for new leadership in Canada. Now, after weeks of pressure, both outside and from outside and inside his party, as well as a diplomatic standoff with India, Justin Trudeau has now stepped down as the Prime Minister of Canada and the leader of Liberal Party. Former Prime Minister Trudeau ally Jagmeet Singh, the head of the NDP, has now threatened a no-confidence motion after pulling out of the minority government. This move also comes ahead of Trump taking office in the United States, with Elon Musk tweeting 2025 is looking good. Meanwhile, Trump wasted no time in responding to Trudeau's resignation, brought up his long-standing suggestion that Canada should join the United States as the 51st state. Now, this creates a major twister in Canadian politics ahead of the general elections later this year. But first, listen in to what Justin Trudeau had to say.
We are at a critical moment in the world. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election. I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process.
Well, joining us on the broadcast is our colleague Siddhant. Very good morning, Siddhant. Siddhant, facing mounting pressure from both allies and opponents, Justin Trudeau has finally stepped down. Now, what will be the implications to begin with after Trudeau's departure, especially for the upcoming general elections in Canada?
Well, after his departure, in fact, he has announced that he will resign in March. So, technically, he's a lame duck interim Prime Minister of Canada, and he's no more the leader of his party also. Until the party gives the new leader and the prime minister, he would be holding those two portfolios. And Liberal Party will open the leadership race, and perhaps the senior leaders of the party could participate and could run in the elections to be the leader of the Liberal Party. So that is one thing which will happen, and it would take approximately 2.5 months for a party to decide a leader. And so what Mr. Trudeau has done is that he has provoked the session, the parliament, until March 24. So until March 24, there cannot be any motion brought against him, because Jagmeet Singh and Conservatives were planning to bring motion against Justin Trudeau in the first sitting of the parliament. And the first sitting of parliament was expected to happen in January, this month. So now the sitting will not happen this month, not in February, it will happen in March. So by then, the Liberals will have a new phase to go into the elections, and the financial bill is also expiring in March. So the House would sit for that, and maybe in March, we could see that the fresh elections will be announced in Canada, because in the first sitting, the opposition parties could bring motion against the Liberal government, because even yesterday also the Bloc party said very clearly that this is not going to solve anything. We call for a fresh election. In fact, the same has been the position of the Jagmeet Singh's NDP and PRA Polebra's Conservative Party. So all three parties are convinced that it's time to call early elections. But Liberals don't want to get into elections right now, because they know there's a lot of anti-incumbency against them, especially against Trudeau. So they want to get into the new elections with a new face of the party. So, that is why they are buying time for next 2 to 3 months. So now, Justin Trudeau will remain as a lame duck interim Prime Minister of Canada. He would not have any powers. There would not be any parliament sitting for next 2 months until March 24. And post that, we could expect Canada to go in elections.
Right. Siddhant, help us understand, and let's basically talk about Trump's immediate response. Canada must merge with US together, and what a great nation it would be. Now, with Trump suggesting that Canada should merge with the United States, what are the likely possibilities, and how do you think this bold proposal will resonate with the Canadian voters, especially in the light of Trudeau's resignation?
Well, Donald Trump has been trolling Justin Trudeau in Canada since winning the elections. In fact, if you remember the first meeting between the two leaders at Mar-a-Lago, when Trudeau went to meet Donald Trump, perhaps to speak about the tariff issues and other.
दिल्ली की जनता उस तारीख की इंतज़ार कर रही है कि वो तारीख तय करेगी दिल्ली का भविष्य, वो तारीख तय करेगी कि आने वाली दिल्ली कैसे होती है, और वो तारीख तय करेगी कि अरविंद केजरीवाल जैसी भ्रष्टाचारी आपदा को दिल्ली से भगाना है, बीजेपी को लाना है।
मुख्यमंत्री तो वहाँ केजरीवाल ही है, चाहे पीछे से हो चाहे आगे से हो। ना पहले फाइल साइन करते थे, ना आज फाइल साइन करेंगे। और उनका क्या है, उनके यहाँ एक ही नेता है, वो अरविंद केजरीवाल है। और मैं जैसे कहता हूँ ना, बार बार मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगता लोगों के बारे में कहने को, बाकी सब नौकर हैं। कि भाई ऐसा है, नौकर ही तय करता है कौन टेम्परेरी है कौन परमानेंट है। नौकर मालिक ही तय करता है, मालिक ही तय करता है किसकी पोस्टिंग कहाँ है। तो आज उन्होंने पोस्टिंग कर दी आतिशी जी की मुख्यमंत्री के चेहरे में, कल कहीं और कर देंगे। तो पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री कह लीजिए, मुख्यमंत्री कह लीजिए, वो तो उनके यहाँ अप्रत्यक्ष अप्रत्यक्ष केजरीवाल ही रहेंगे।
भारतीय जनता पार्टी का जनता के बीच में कोई नैरेटिव नहीं है, कोई प्रोग्रेसिव बात नहीं है, कोई चुनाव की तैयारियां नहीं दिख रही हैं। कहीं ऐसा ना हो कि ये एमसीडी के चुनावों की तरह दिल्ली विधानसभा के चुनाव टाल ना दें। मगर अब ये चुनाव हो रहे हैं तो हम पूरी तरीके से तैयार हैं, और मुझे लगता है कि पिछली बारों की तरह ही भारतीय जनता पार्टी को बहुत कम सीटें आएंगी और आम आदमी पार्टी को एक बड़ा बहुमत।
मैं सभी दिल्ली के मतदाताओं से ये अपील करता हूँ कि ये लोकतंत्र के पर्व में बढ़ चढ़कर हिस्सा लें। आप अपने रिश्तेदारों को, दोस्तों को, मित्रों को प्रेरित करें। एक एक वोट हमारे लिए कीमती है। हमारी सरकार अच्छी बने, एक ऐसी सरकार बने जो डबल इंजन की सरकार हो, जो मोदी जी के विजन को लेकर दिल्ली में एक अच्छा काम करे, ऐसी सरकार बने।
देखिए, अरविंद केजरीवाल जी के मुद्दे नहीं है, वो इस तरह कोई बयान ट्वीट खेल रहे हैं। सारा दिन वो देखती है उनके ट्वीट आते रहते हैं और इस तरह के बयान कि ईडी आ गई, सीबीआई, अरे ईडी आ गई थी, सीबीआई आ गई थी, आपके खिलाफ पुख्ता सबूत थे, आपको जेल जाना पड़ा, आपको कुर्सी गंवानी पड़ी। अब ये तमाशा खेल बंद कर दीजिए, क्योंकि अब चुनावों में सिर्फ विक्टिम कार्ड खेलेंगे नहीं, आपको पकड़ेगी सीबीआई, वो कानून, उम्मीद है हमें भी सीबीआई ईडी आ रही है, लेकिन विक्टिम कार्ड मत खेलिए, 10 साल की रिपोर्ट कार्ड लेकर आइए और अब जनता की अदालत में है, आप उसका सामना करिए।
देखिए, आम आदमी पार्टी चुनाव लड़ने के लिए पूरी तरह से तैयार है। हमारे पास सीएम फेस भी है, हमने 70 कैंडिडेट्स भी अनाउंस कर दिए हैं। वहीं भाजपा की या अन्य पार्टियों की कोई तैयारी नहीं लगती। हम चाहेंगे कि हम उम्मीद रख सकते हैं कि इलेक्शन कमीशन एक फ्री एंड फेयर इलेक्शंस कंडक्ट करेगा एंड दिल्ली की जनता भारी प्रचंड बहुमत से चौथी बार से फिर से अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को ही जिताएंगे।
With Justin Trudeau's political future in jeopardy, he's now made the bold decision to resign, paving the way for new leadership in Canada. Now, after weeks of pressure, both outside and from outside and inside his party, as well as a diplomatic standoff with India, Justin Trudeau has now stepped down as the Prime Minister of Canada and the leader of Liberal Party. Former Prime Minister Trudeau ally Jagmeet Singh, the head of the NDP, has now threatened a no-confidence motion after pulling out of the minority government. This move also comes ahead of Trump taking office in the United States, with Elon Musk tweeting 2025 is looking good. Meanwhile, Trump wasted no time in responding to Trudeau's resignation, brought up his long-standing suggestion that Canada should join the United States as the 51st state. Now, this creates a major twister in Canadian politics ahead of the general elections later this year. But first, listen in to what Justin Trudeau had to say.
We are at a critical moment in the world. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election. I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process.
Well, joining us on the broadcast is our colleague Siddhant. Very good morning, Siddhant. Siddhant, facing mounting pressure from both allies and opponents, Justin Trudeau has finally stepped down. Now, what will be the implications to begin with after Trudeau's departure, especially for the upcoming general elections in Canada?
Well, after his departure, in fact, he has announced that he will resign in March. So, technically, he's a lame duck interim Prime Minister of Canada, and he's no more the leader of his party also. Until the party gives the new leader and the Prime Minister, he would be holding those two portfolios. And Liberal Party will open the leadership race, and perhaps the senior leaders of the party could participate and could run in the elections to be the leader of the Liberal Party. So that is one thing which will happen, and it would take approximately 2.5 months for a party to decide a leader. And so what Mr. Trudeau has done is that he has provoked the session, the parliament, until March 24. So until March 24, there cannot be any motion brought against him, because Jagmeet Singh and Conservatives were planning to bring motion against Justin Trudeau in the first sitting of the Parliament. The first sitting of Parliament was expected to happen in January, this month. So now the sitting will not happen this month, not in February. It will happen in March. So by then, the Liberals will have a new phase to go into the elections, and the financial bill is also expiring in March. So the House would sit for that. And, maybe in March, we could see that the fresh elections will be announced in Canada, because in the first sitting, the opposition parties could bring motion against the Liberal government, because even yesterday also the Bloc party said very clearly that this is not going to solve anything. We call for a fresh election. In fact, the same has been the position of the Jagmeet Singh's NDP and PRA Polebra's Conservative Party. So all three parties are convinced that it's time to call early elections. But Liberals don't want to get into elections right now because they know there's a lot of anti-incumbency against them, especially against Trudeau. So they want to get into the new elections with a new face of the party. So, that is why they are buying time for next 2 to 3 months. So now Justin Trudeau will remain as a lame duck interim Prime Minister of Canada. He would not have any powers. There would not be any parliament sitting for next 2 months until March 24. And post that, we could expect Canada to go in elections.
Right. Siddhant, help us understand, and let's basically talk about Trump's immediate response. Canada must merge with US together, and what a great nation it would be. Now, with Trump suggesting that Canada should merge with the United States, what are the likely possibilities, and how do you think this bold proposal will resonate with the Canadian voters, especially in the light of Trudeau's resignation?
Well, Donald Trump has been trolling Justin Trudeau in Canada since winning the elections. In fact, if you remember the first meeting between the two leaders at Mar-a-Lago, when Trudeau went to meet Donald Trump, perhaps to speak about the tariff issues and other issues. So even after that, also he addressed Trudeau as Governor Trudeau and Canada as the 51st state of United States. Perhaps Trump again writes on social media and says that and takes full credit of Justin Trudeau's resignation, because he has to say that Trudeau has resigned because he knows that the tariffs and the subsidies that America offers to Canada to be afloat will not be offered anymore under my regime, under Trump's regime, and because and out of fear of that, Trudeau has resigned. So again, Trump has mocked Justin Trudeau.
With Justin Trudeau's political future in jeopardy, he's now made the bold decision to resign, paving the way for new leadership in Canada.
The Election Commission of India will announce the schedule for the upcoming Delhi Assembly elections in a short while from now. The voting and counting dates will be announced during the press conference. Once the EC announces the poll dates, the Model Code of Conduct will also kick in. The Delhi Assembly's term is set to conclude on the 23rd of February, with voting expected to take place in the first week of February. Meanwhile, former Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal is ready to face off against Sandeep Dixit, former Congress MP, and also BJP's former West Delhi MP Parvesh Sahib Singh. In Kalkaji, CM Atishi will contest against Congress's Alka Lamba and South Delhi BJP MP Ramesh Biduri. In Jangpura, BJP Sardar Tarvinder Singh Marwa versus Farhad Suri of the Congress, and that will be against former Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia, who finds his constituency shifted or changed away from Patparganj. Delhi Assembly elections will witness a three-cornered fight between the BJP, Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party, with both the BJP and the Congress wanting to go very aggressive this time around when they believe the AAP is at its weakest in Delhi. Arunima joins us from Vigyan Bhavan. Any moment now, we should have the Chief Election Commissioner and the entire team of the Election Commission taking the stage there to dole out the dates and also perhaps give us a little more details on this entire bogus voter ID issue. Yes, Arunima.
So that will be the key question. The Chief Election Commissioner is going to take his seat. The announcement has just been made that the full Election Commission, the CEC and the two election commissioners have arrived here at Vigyan Bhavan. The other officials, you can see, have already taken their position on the dais. So the CEC will be here any moment, and after he has announced the dates and all the details about the preparations, I think the first question that the media will have for the CEC will be about the electoral rolls and all the allegations that have been made about the electoral rolls. In the past also, charges have been thrown at the CEC and the EC by the opposition, be it the Maharashtra election where the EVMs were questioned, be it prior elections where electoral rolls were questioned. This time is no different, and each time EC has given a strong rebuttal. So we are expecting to hear from the CEC as to what that rebuttal is going to be, because their officials have gone to the extent to seek police protection. The Delhi Election Commission officials have have gone to the Delhi police saying we are being pressurized, being threatened by senior leadership of Aam Aadmi Party. We need protection. So will the CEC take that forward? Will he make an appeal to the opposition, or will he take a very, very strong position against these kind of attempts? That question, I assure you, will be one of the first.
He's somebody who's always batted these allegations
on
on the front foot, and he's never shirks from speaking on those. But Arunima, any punt on the dates, possible dates? What will be the date for polling and date for results?
See, usually you do give 4 to 6 weeks time. We are in the first week of January. So if you calculate that 4 to 6 week times, then mid-February is what we are looking at. And perhaps by the end of February, you will know kaun banega Delhi ka Mukhyamantri. But there is a catch there too. Arvind Kejriwal, okay, as I'm speaking to you, Anand, Chief Election Commissioner and the two ECs have arrived in the room. They're just taking their position on the dais in Vigyan Bhavan. We'll just leave it to the gentleman there to tell us more about the dates and the counting date.
Kindly request all of you to please be seated. Sir, can we start?
Yes.
Thank you. A very good afternoon to all of you. At the very outset, I wish you all a very happy new year, and I formally welcome you all to this press conference by the Election Commission to announce the schedule for the elections to the Delhi Legislative Assembly. Besides being the first presser in the new year, this presser also holds a special significance, as from Bihar Assembly elections in 2020 to the Delhi Assembly elections in 2025, Chief Election Commissioner Shri Rajiv Kumar Sir would be completing one full election cycle of conducting elections for all legislative assemblies in 31 states, union territories, the historic Lok Sabha elections 2024, the presidential and the vice presidential elections in 2022, and the elections to the Rajya Sabha. Indeed, a rare feat. With this, on dais, I would like to welcome the Honorable Chief Election Commissioner, Shri Rajiv Kumar Sir, and the Honorable Election Commissioners, Shri Gyanesh Kumar Sir and Dr. Sukhbir Singh Sandhu Sir. We also have with us today Senior Deputy Election Commissioners and Deputy Election Commissioners in charge of various divisions in the ECI headquarters. The format of the press conference will be as follows. There will be an opening remarks by the CEC Sir along with a presentation. We will share the copy of the presentation with all of you after the event is over. This event is also being live streamed, and the presentation slides along with the updates will be shared live on our social media platforms. Following this, there will be a question and answer session. When you want to ask a question, kindly raise your hand and wait for your chance to be called to ask a question. I will direct the mic to come to you. Introduce yourself and your organization and then ask your question. I request all of you to please keep your mobile phones on silent mode. Now I request Honorable CEC to kindly deliver his opening remarks.
Thank you, Anuj. Honorable Election Commissioner Shri Gyanesh Ji, Dr. Sukhbir Singh Ji Sandhu, all my colleagues from the Commission, friends from media, we welcome you to this press conference for the announcement of the schedule for the general elections in Delhi and also the by-polls wherever they are pending. जैसे अभी उन्होंने कहा कि ये इस वर्ष की पहली प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस है, तो I'll take this opportunity to greet all the voters, all the citizens of the country, और सबको बहुत बहुत नववर्ष की शुभकामनाएं। और जैसे अनुज ने कहा कि ये मेरी CEC आखिरी प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस भी है, सो आप सबको सभी वोटर्स से मेरी अपील है कि खासतौर से युवाओं से कि इसी तरीके से लोकतंत्र में अपनी भागीदारी बढ़ाते रहें। बहुत ही सुंदर बगिया है, इसको अपने वोट से हमेशा सजाते रहें। फ्रेंड्स, 2024 has been a year of elections globally. पूरे वर्ल्ड में इलेक्शंस हुए, डेमोक्रेसीज में almost 2/3 of the population in the democratic world went for voting. हमारे यहाँ भी 2024 में 8 राज्य और यूटीज में इलेक्शंस हुए, जनरल इलेक्शन हुआ। एक अच्छा माहौल रहा। नए कीर्तिमान लोकसभा इलेक्शंस में हमने बनाए। विश्व में मैक्सिमम वोटिंग का परसेंटेज का रिकॉर्ड बना, लोगों की भागीदारी का, महिलाओं की भागीदारी का, वायलेंस फ्री इलेक्शंस का, नो रीपोल्स, रिकॉर्ड सीजर्स, इंड्यूसमेंट फ्री टू द एक्सटेंट इट वाज पॉसिबल, J&K, मणिपुर, LWE एरियाज। सो काफ़ी रिकॉर्ड्स बने और मुझे उम्मीद है कि आने वाले समय में भी इसी प्रकार से लोकतंत्र और मजबूत होता रहेगा। अनदर लैंडमार्क इज इन द मेकिंग। आज कल हमारी इलेक्टरल रोल्स रिलीज हुई, आज भी 4 स्टेट में रिलीज हो रही है। वी आर क्रॉसिंग 99 करोड़ वोटर्स। So we are going to be 1 billion voters very soon, nation of 1 billion voters very soon. That's another world record which is in making. But with this SSR, after the declaration by the state of UP, Rajasthan, Punjab and Bihar, which will be declaring their SSR results today, will be crossing 99 crores, first time. महिलाओं की संख्या भी 48 करोड़ से ऊपर पहुंचने जा रही है इस एसएसआर में, which is a very strong indicator and a sense of empowerment for the women of the country. Friends, नए साल में पहली बारी दिल्ली की है और दिल्ली की अपनी एक विरासत है। एक पूरा देश यहाँ रिप्रेजेंट होता है। I mean, you can see the entire country in Delhi. मतलब एक विविधता का बिल्कुल एक जागृत नज़ारा देखने को मिलता है। दिल्ली में किसी भी जगह में चली जाइए, हर मतलब एक विविधता का बिल्कुल एक जागृत नज़ारा देखने को मिलता है। दिल्ली में किसी भी जगह में चली जाइए, हर कल्चर, हर जगह के लोग आपको यहाँ मिलते हैं। सो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी भी दिल्लीइट्स की बढ़ जाती है एंड वी आर श्योर दिल्ली विल दिस टाइम वोट इन लार्जर नंबर्स, और जिसको अगर कह सकें तो दिल्ली दिल से वोट करेगी, ऐसा हमें उम्मीद है। फ्रेंड्स, इन सभी उपलब्धियों के बीच आई एम कमिंग टू ए लिटिल सीरियस इशूज एंड आई विल टेक some time before I come to the Delhi specific issues. 24 में जहां मैंने इतनी सारी उपलब्धियां गिनाई, वहीं चुनाव के दौरान कुछ डाउट्स, कुछ शंकाएं, कुछ कंसर्न्स भी रेज होते रहे. So prior to coming to Delhi elections, let me on my own tell you what kind of concerns were raised. And I'll narrate all these concerns and also before coming to Delhi try and answer on each one of them so that no doubts remain. कहा गया कि इलेक्टरल रोल्स में wrongful एडिशन या डिलीशन कर दिए गए. इससे पहले मैं खुद वो प्रश्न दे रहा हूं जो आपके मानस में हैं और सबके मानस में फैला दिए गए हैं. ऐसा भी कहा गया है कि कोई ग्रुप्स को टारगेट कर दिया जाता है, किसी के नाम काट दिए जाते हैं, किसी लोकेलिटी से नाम काट दिए जाते हैं. मैं आज सब बताऊंगा कि ऐसा हो सकता है क्या, ऐसा क्यों नहीं हो सकता. कहा गया कि कुछ कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसीज में 50-50 हज़ार वोटर बढ़ा दिए गए, वहां पर कोई पर्टिकुलर पार्टी जीत गई. इस तरीके की चीजें कही गई. ईवीएम्स का तो एक सब जवाब देने के बाद बोला गया कि मैनिपुलेट हो सकती हैं. ये भी 2 बार हो सकता है, कभी बैटरी के नाम पर, कभी किसी नाम पर, कभी कहा गया कि ये ईवीएम इलेक्शन है, लोगों का इलेक्शन नहीं है. वोटर टर्नआउट इंक्रीज हो जाता है 5 बजे के बाद. ये काफी एक विषय पब्लिक में रहा, जनरल इलेक्शन के दौरान भी, उसके बाद भी. कैसे 5 बजे के बाद बढ़ सकता है, कहां बढ़ गया, कौन सी 5 बजे से 10 बजे तक के बीच में कतारों में, लाइनों में लोग खड़े हुए थे, हमें वीडियो दिखाइए. इस तरीके के प्रश्न पूछे गए, जिसके उत्तर मैं आज देना चाहता हूं बिफोर गोइंग टू डेली इलेक्शन. ऑल्सो नेसेसरी बिकॉज द डाउट्स गेट्स रिमूव्ड, यू कैन आस्क मी फर्दर क्वेश्चंस इफ यू वांट. And these questions do not come again election after election. वोटर्स में मिसमैच हो गया, जितने वोट पड़े थे वो बढ़ा दिए गए. पहली बात तो ये था वोटर टर्नआउट में, चलिए बढ़ा दिए. उसके बाद काउंटिंग में मिसमैच हो गया, कहीं कम गिन लिए, कहीं ज़्यादा गिन लिए. ये भी मुद्दे उठे. काउंटिंग को स्लो डाउन कर दिया गया. अभी एक नया मुद्दा उठा है कि हमने कोई रूल चेंज कर दिए हैं जिससे बहुत बड़ी ट्रांसपेरेंसी खत्म हो गई है. सो ऑल दीज क्वेश्चंस आर एक्चुअली, अगर एक बहुत बड़ी पिक्चर आपको मैं दिखाऊं तो तो 10.5 लाख बूथ हैं कंट्री में। हर बूथ पर 4 से 5 पोलिंग ऑफिशियल्स होते हैं, तो उनका नंबर हो गया 10.5 × 4 भी कर लें तो करीब करीब 45-50 लाख लोग हैं। ये 45-50 लाख जो पोलिंग ऑफिशियल्स हैं ये उसी स्टेट के होते हैं, डिफरेंट डिपार्टमेंट्स के होते हैं, डिफरेंट स्किल सेट्स के होते हैं। एंड चुनाव से बूथ पे पहुंचने के 2 days 3 days बिफोर they are randomized in front of the candidates and teams are formed. So they meet first time 2-3 days. So there cannot be, ऐसा लगता है कि जैसे 40-45 लोग कोई कॉन्स्पिरेसी या कोई गलती गड़बड़ करने के लिए बैठे हुए हैं इतने सारे क्वेश्चंस देख के। बड़ा पेन होता है इनको, because they are at the receiving end. So I'll explain how this is not possible or what is the answer to this. I'll attempt answers to all these questions, and it is our duty. Actually, right to question is inbuilt in democracy. It's an inherent right. We respect this. We respect this right. We feel that question करना और उसका जवाब देना हमारी जिम्मेदारी है। तो आज इन सभी सवालों की पूरी इज्जत रखते हुए हम इनका जवाब देंगे 1 by 1। और अगर इसको मैं कुछ शायराना अंदाज में कह सकता तो ऐसे कहता, सब सवाल अहमियत रखते हैं, जवाब तो बनता है। सब सवाल अहमियत रखते हैं, जवाब तो बनता है। आदतन कलम बंद जवाब देते रहे, आज रूबरू भी बनता है। क्या पता कल हम हो ना हो, आज जवाब तो बनता है। आज जवाब तो बनता है। तो फ्रेंड्स, बिफोर गिविंग यू आंसर, एक पूरी पिक्चर दिखाता हूं आपको। ये स्लाइड देखिए और इसको अपने मानस में थोड़ा बसाइए। अभी अनुज ने कहा कि पिछले 2020 से 30 स्टेट्स के इलेक्शन हुए हैं। 15 स्टेट्स में डिफरेंट पार्टीज आर द बिगेस्ट पार्टीज। दिस इज द ब्यूटी ऑफ इंडियन इलेक्शंस एंड द डेमोक्रेसी। आप देखिए 2020 से स्टेट बाय स्टेट हमने दिखाया। दिस वी आर पुटिंग ऑन सोशल मीडिया। जैसे मैं आपसे बात कर रहा हूं तो आपके ग्रुप में ही आ जाएगा, स्लाइड बाय स्लाइड इट इज बीइंग ट्रांसमिटेड। 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 हर जगह में डिफरेंट पार्टीज आर कमिंग टू, आर गेटिंग मैक्सिमम सीट्स। दिस इज वन रिफ्लेक्शन हाउ फेयर, हाउ डीप रूटेड द इंडियन फेयरनेस ऑफ द इंडियन इलेक्शंस आर। द वोटर, इंडियन वोटर इज एक्सट्रीमली अवेयर, कॉन्शियस, ही अंडरस्टैंड्स एवरीथिंग। तो वही जवाब देता है। बट एनीवे, जो प्रश्न पूछे गए उनका जवाब मुझे देना चाहिए, मैं देता हूं उनका जवाब आपको। एक जवाब देने से पहले अगर ये बात मैं कहूं कि ये पूरी पिक्चर अगर किसी को दिखा दो तो सारी पार्टीज को पता है कि वो जहां उनको वो भी हर जगह में जीते हैं। हर इलेक्शन के बाद एक परिणाम से रिलेटेड, परिणाम के बेसिस पे प्रक्रिया का आकलन नहीं हो सकता। परिणाम अपना निश्चिंत है। फिर से जो पार्टी सब जानती हैं कि वो भी जीतती हैं, अगर उसको भी शायराना अंदाज में कहा जाता तो कैसे कहते, ये मैं कहने की कोशिश फिर से करता हूं। वो जानते हैं, वो जीत चुके हैं, उन्हें पता है। कर ना सकें इकरार तो कोई बात नहीं, मेरी वफा का उनको एतबार तो है। शिकायत भले ही उनकी मजबूरी हो, मगर सुनना, सहना, सुलझाना हमारी आदत तो है। फ्रेंड्स, विद दिस आई विल कम टू द इलेक्टरल रोल। अभी भी इलेक्टरल रोल के बारे में कहानी चल रही है। देखिए, आपको एक करीब 70 स्टेप्स ऐसे हैं। इलेक्टरल रोल, उसके बाद चुनावी प्रक्रिया, ईवीएम्स, पोलिंग स्टेशन, फॉर्म 17C, काउंटिंग, जिसमें पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज और कैंडिडेट्स कॉन्टिन्यूअसली हमारे साथ रहते हैं। डिस्क्लोजर्स की जो मैं बात कहता हूं वो आज मैं आपको दिखा रहा हूं कैसे। अगर जब भी इलेक्टरल रोल बनता है, रेगुलर मीटिंग्स होती हैं, फॉर्म 6 के बिना हो नहीं सकता। बीएलए हर पार्टी को अपॉइंट करने का अधिकार है। जो भी क्लेम्स एंड ऑब्जेक्शंस आते हैं वो हाथ की हाथ हर पॉलिटिकल पार्टी के साथ में शेयर किए जाते हैं। वेबसाइट पे ड्राफ्ट डाला जाता है। पोलिंग स्टेशन के रेशनलाइजेशन में कंसल्ट किया जाता है। कोई डिलीशन हो ही नहीं सकता जब तक उसके पीछे फॉर्म 7 ना हो। यहां तक कि अगर किसी की डेथ हो गई है, उसका भी डेथ सर्टिफिकेट हम अपने रिकॉर्ड में लगा के BLO के माध्यम से रखते हैं। अगर किसी का डिलीशन इसके अतिरिक्त होना है शिफ्टिंग में, उसको नोटिस देते हैं, वेबसाइट पे डालते हैं, क्लेम्स एंड ऑब्जेक्शंस का टाइम देते हैं। हमने मेहनत करके इस पूरी प्रक्रिया का एक चार्ट बनाया है, मैं आपको दिखाना चाहता हूं वो चार्ट। नेक्स्ट देखिए, राइट साइड में आप देखेंगे अक्टूबर। सो दिस इज नेसेसरी फॉर द नेशन टू नो। और दुनिया में और हिंदुस्तान में दूसरी कोई प्रक्रिया ऐसी नहीं है जिसमें हर साल आपके आइडेंटिटी का या आपके वोटर का किसी चीज का एनुअल वेरिफिकेशन होता हो। अक्टूबर हर साल 1 जनवरी को एलिजिबल डेट मानकर एक सर्वे किया जाता है जिसको अक्टूबर में प्रारंभ होता है। ड्राफ्ट रोल की कॉपी फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट 2-2 कॉपी हर पॉलिटिकल पार्टी को दी जाती है। कहा जाता है ये ड्राफ्ट रोल है, अब जो नए लोग वोटर बनना चाहते हैं डिलीट होंगे, उसकी प्रक्रिया चलेगी। हर स्टेज पे हम आपको खबर करेंगे, हर स्टेज पे कोई भी ऑब्जेक्शन हो तो हमें बताइए। प्लीज अलाउ योर अपॉइंट योर BLA, लेट हिम गो। हर विलेज में, हर पोलिंग स्टेशन पर जो भी ड्राफ्ट रोल है और जो ऑब्जेक्शंस हैं उनकी कॉपी पब्लिश की जाती है, सफिशिएंट अपॉर्चुनिटी दी जाती है। डिलीशन हो नहीं सकता जब तक कि पर्सनल हियरिंग ना हो जाए और उसका साथ में मौका ना दिया जाए। किसी पोलिंग स्टेशन पे 2% से ज्यादा डिलीशन हो गए तो ERO और ARO को जाके पर्सनली चेकिंग करनी है। सो फ्रेंड्स, इट इज ए परफेक्ट सिस्टम। अच्छा, हर साल होता है। इट इज ओनली बिल्ट फर्दर ऑन वॉट एवर इज ऑलरेडी एग्जिस्टिंग। ऐसा नहीं है कि सडनली कुछ बन गया। और आप सोच के देखिए, जहां एक एक वोट की लड़ाई होती है, वहां पर किसी पोलिंग स्टेशन से या किसी कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी से आप लगातार 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 जैसे बोल दिया जाता है, सडनली ऐसे नाम काट दीजिए, तो वहां तो क्या सिचुएशन होने वाली है आप सब लोग जानते हैं। और दूसरी बात, अगर किसी वजह से मान लिया 1% हो गया, तो जब आज 5 जनवरी से लेके अक्टूबर तक का टाइम है, उसके बीच में फॉर्म्स क्यों नहीं भरे जाते कि ये डिलीट कर दिया जाए या इसको नया जोड़ दिया जाए? ओनली at the time of elections, when it is happening in that particular state, these kind of issues are raised. These is absolutely impossible. किसी BLO के द्वारा अगर कोई भी 1-2 नाम इधर उधर हो गया, उसको करेक्ट करने के सफिशिएंट मौके हैं। और अगर ऐसी सूचना कोई हमारे सामने आती है तो we'll take action also against them. After explaining SSR, I'll come to the EVMs. बहुत बार EVMs के बारे में हम लोग बात कर चुके हैं, लेकिन आज मैं फिर से ये सब एक पब्लिक डोमेन में डालना चाहता हूं, ताकि ये अभी अब स्लाइड्स भी आपको ये वाली सब हाथ की हाथ सोशल मीडिया पर भेजी जा रही हैं। लेट मी एक्सप्लेन दिस प्रॉपर्ली अगेन, क्योंकि इतने डाउट्स क्रिएट करने की कोशिश हुई है कि पब्लिक को पता लग जाना चाहिए एक बार। चुनाव की तारीख से 7 या 8 दिन पहले ईवीएम्स को कमीशन किया जाता है, उसमें सिंबल डाले जाते हैं, वो एजेंट के सामने डाले जाते हैं। उसके बाद में उसको मॉकपोल करने की छूट होती है, वो उसी दिन मॉकपोल करके देख लें सिंबल ठीक पड़ गए, उसी दिन उसमें नई बैटरी डाली जाती है, उसी दिन वो बैटरी सबके सामने में सील होती है। उसके बाद उसको उठा के ईवीएम्स को स्ट्रांग रूम में जमा किया जाता है, उन्हीं के सामने सील लगाई जाती है। उसके बाद में जिस दिन पोलिंग डे होगा उस दिन सील उनके सामने तोड़ी जाती है, एंड दे आर अलाउड टू रिमेन एट द स्ट्रांग रूम। पोलिंग डे में डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन के बाद पोलिंग स्टेशन पे सबसे पहले कहा जाता है आपको ये वाली सीरियल नंबर की पोलिंग ईवीएम दी गई थी, प्लीज चेक वही है, आपने सील लगाई थी, प्लीज चेक वही है, उस दिन आपने मॉक पोल किया था, आज फिर कर लीजिए, सुबह सबसे पहले फिर मॉक पोल कर लीजिए। पोलिंग एजेंट इज इनसाइड द पोलिंग स्टेशन। शाम को वो दिन भर रिकॉर्ड रखते हैं कौन आया कौन गया। शाम को पोल खत्म होने से पहले, पोलिंग स्टेशन छोड़ने से पहले फॉर्म 17C अकाउंट ऑफ वोट्स, किसमें कितने वोट पड़े इसकी संख्या उनको दे दी जाती है। आई विल कवर दिस पॉइंट अगेन व्हेन आई कम टू VTR। ईवीएम्स को वापस स्टोर रूम में लाया गया, फिर उनके सामने ताला लगाया गया, फिर काउंटिंग के दिन आए, फिर कहा भाई काउंटिंग में फिर देख लो वही मशीन है, फिर सील चेक कर लो। उसके बाद में फॉर्म 17C से मिला लो, अगर 17C से काउंट मिलेगा तभी काउंटिंग प्रोसीड करेगी। तो पोलिंग स्टेशन छोड़ने से पहले आपके हाथ में 17 सीट दे दिया, काउंटिंग से पहले फिर मैच करके आपको दिखा दिया। उसके बाद 5 रैंडमली सेलेक्टेड वीवीपैट्स की गिनती भी कर ली। ये नेक्स्ट सारी चीजों को बहुत बार चैलेंज किया गया। देखिए, मैंने पिछली बार भी एक किताब आपको दिखाई थी जो हमने बनाई है, वेबसाइट पे डाली है, आज फिर दिखाता हूं। माननीय हाई कोर्ट्स और सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने क्या कहा है। उन्होंने कहा है कि ईवीएम हैक हो ही नहीं सकती। देयर इज नो एविडेंस ऑफ अनरिलायबिलिटी और एनी ड्रॉबैक इन द ईवीएम। आई एम सर्कुलेटिंग इट, प्लीज सी द डिटेल्स आर देयर इन द कोर्ट orders are here compiled, they are on our website. There is no question of introducing virus or bug in the EVM. There is no question of invalid votes in the EVM. No rigging is possible. High Court and Supreme Court is saying continuously in different judgments which are here. No alteration in results is possible by activating a Trojan horse or a virus. Evidence inspires confidence of the court that they are tamper-proof. What else can be said? EVMs are foolproof devices for counting. Allegations of tampering are baseless. We are not saying. We are speaking now because we don't speak when elections are on. And I want to clarify this so that it remains. Questions are not asked. When asked, at least you are all equipped to check them before writing. Invention is undoubtedly a great achievement and national pride. EVM with VVPAT system ensures accuracy of voting system. ECI has successfully held free and fair elections. Lowering down of the image and prestige of the constitutional body cannot be allowed. On paper ballots, return to outdated paper ballot system is unwarranted, regressive. This is aimed at derailing the electoral process. What else can be said? Friends, everything is in the form of an FAQ available. We have uploaded, we have conveyed to from wherever these questions have come. Please refer to them. Now, let me come to the voter turnout. ये बेसिक क्वेश्चन हमसे पूछे गए। शाम 5 बजे के बाद अचानक से 8-10%, शाम 11 बजे तक कैसे बढ़ सकते? उसी दिन की बात हो रही है, नेक्स्ट डे की बात नहीं हो रही। ऑन द डे ऑफ पोलिंग करोड़ ऑफ वोट बढ़ा दिए गए। शाम 5 से 6 बजे के बीच बताइए कि लंबी लंबी कतारें कहाँ थी, हमें सीसीटीवी दिखाइए। इस तरह के प्रश्न हमसे पूछे गए। अभी आपको याद होगा कि इट्स ए मिसकंसीव्ड नैरेटिव। आई विल एक्सप्लेन हाउ इट इज ए मिसकंसीव्ड नैरेटिव। एक ग्लोबल एक्सपर्ट हैं आईटी के, जब हमारा चुनाव चल रहा था तो उन्होंने कहा था ईवीएम्स कैन बी हैक्ड। सब आप लोगों ने देखा होगा। अरे भाई, वहां ईवीएम होती ही नहीं है। देयर आर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक वोटिंग मैकेनिज्म्स, दे आर कॉल्ड, दे आर नॉट ईवीएम्स। There are electronic machines which do voting from different times. वो रीडर्स होते हैं, वो होते हैं। उसके बाद भी यहाँ हल्ला हो गया, खूब चला सोशल मीडिया में कि वो बोल रहे हैं कि ईवीएम हैक हो सकती है। अभी क्या कहा सेम एक्सपर्ट ने कि हमें तो लगे 1 महीना 1.5 महीना काउंटिंग करने में, इंडिया में तो 1 दिन में काउंटिंग हो जाती है। We just follow the narratives which are suiting. Let me explain how VTR cannot be changed. Please इसको बस बना के फिर आई विल कम टू दिल्ली। सुबह 9:30 बजे, 11:30 बजे, 1:30 बजे, 3:30 बजे, 5:30 बजे सेक्टर मजिस्ट्रेट्स गो फ्रॉम बूथ टू बूथ। दे कलेक्ट व्हाट इज द ट्रेंड। अगर 10.5 लाख बूथ से अनकनेक्टेड सिस्टम से, फोन से या मैसेजिंग ग्रुप से फिगर कलेक्ट करनी हो तो हिंदुस्तान में क्या, पूरी दुनिया में कोई एग्जाम्पल बताइए जहां रात को 6 बजे, अभी चुनाव खत्म भी नहीं हुआ और 6 बजे में पहले आपको एग्जैक्ट वोटर दे दूं। फिर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक वोटिंग मशीन को इंटरनेट से जोड़ देते हैं, जोड़ने के बाद में वो हैंड टू हैंड लाइव हो जाएगा सिस्टम, फिर आप कहेंगे कि ईवीएम को हैक कर दिया। 5:30 बजे, 5 बजे के बाद जस्ट प्लीज इमेजिन 5 से 7 के बीच में प्रिजाइडिंग ऑफिसर जो पहली बार वहां गया है, छोटे से स्कूल के टीचर हैं, आंगनवाड़ी वर्कर्स हैं, वो क्या काम करते हैं? जितने लोग लाइन में खड़े हैं पहले उनको पर्चियां टोकन बांटते हैं कि आप लाइन में रहिए, आपका वोट जरूर लेंगे। थोड़ी थोड़ी कहा सुनी भी होती है गेट पर कि हम तो टाइम में आ गए थे। फिर वो किसी तरह से लॉ एंड ऑर्डर संभालते हैं, एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव जॉब करते हैं, बंद करते हैं, सबका वोट डलवाते हैं। उसके बाद में वोटिंग खत्म कराते हैं, मशीन को सील करते हैं, बैटरी को सील करते हैं, सी इंक्लूडेड। और सोचिए 17C बनाने के बाद हाथ से लिखते हैं, लिखने के बाद एजेंट के हाथ में वो कॉपी देते हैं, सील कराते हैं। अब एक आप इमेजिन करिए 10.5 लाख बूथ पर अगर 4 एजेंट भी मान लें तो 40 लाख फॉर्म 17C आर अवेलेबल विद द एजेंट्स एट क्लोज ऑफ पोल बिफोर लीविंग पोलिंग स्टेशन। अगर महाराष्ट्र का जिक्र ले लें तो 1 लाख बूथ थे लगभग, 4 भी मान लें तो 4 लाख 17C फॉर्म। अगर मैं यहाँ 300-400 लोग हैं आप लोग, इनके बीच में एक कागज सर्कुलेट कर दूं और कहूं कि 1 घंटे के बाद में इसको मुझे वापस कर दीजिए, मैं बदल दूंगा, तो बदल सकता हूं क्या? संभव है क्या? एवरी कैंडिडेट ऑफ ए लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली बाय द एंड ऑफ द डे collects Form 17C from his polling agents and knows exactly on which booth how much has been voted, votes have been cast. कहीं तो 1-2 महीना काउंटिंग नहीं हो पा रही और हमसे क्या पूछा जा रहा है कि आपने 6 बजे के बदले 11:15 बजे तक 8% बढ़ा दिया। अरे भाई, वो 7-7:30 बजे सारी मशीन को लेके बूथ से उठ के काउंटिंग डिपॉजिट सेंटर में आएगा, प्रिजाइडिंग ऑफिसर मशीन जमा करेगा और 7:30 बजे के बाद 8 बजे के बाद जैसे जैसे वो लौटेगा फिर से वोटर टर्नआउट ऐप विच इज नॉट ए स्टैट्यूटरी डॉक्यूमेंट उसको ठीक करना शुरू करेगा। 11-11:15 बजे तक हमने जनरल इलेक्शन 24 के बाद, जिससे कंफ्यूजन ना रहे, 11:30 बजे 11:45 बजे रात को फिर एक रिलीज करना शुरू किया प्रेस का, ताकि ये भी ना रहे कि अगले दिन क्या हुआ, पहले दिन क्यों नहीं बताया। हमने उस दिन रात को करना शुरू किया। अब कहा जा रहा है कि 6 बजे बता दीजिए। 6 बजे पोलिंग स्टेशन बंद करें, 6 बजे मशीन को जमा करें, या 6 बजे पहले सबसे पहले ये बताएं कि क्या हुआ। Therefore, this gap is a very, very procedural inbuilt gap. It will always remain so. There is nothing wrong in it. And nobody involved, nobody in any exercise can ever tell कि अगर 6 बजे कोई एक्सरसाइज बंद हुई है तो 6:15 बजे उसका पहले एग्जैक्ट पोलिंग परसेंटेज बता दीजिए। इम्पॉसिबल, अनलेस इट इज कनेक्टेड टू द नेट, इट इज इम्पॉसिबल। फ्रेंड्स, फॉर्म 17C ही धीरे धीरे रात तक वही एग्रीगेट हो जाता है जो फॉर्म 17C का एग्रीगेट है। एनीबडी कैन चेक। हमने क्लोज ऑफ पोल पे दे दिया, 11:30-12 बजे हो जाएगा और अगले दिन हम एक स्क्रूटिनी करते हैं जिसमें ऑब्जर्वर्स और कैंडिडेट्स को बुलाते हैं और बहुत सारी पोलिंग पार्टी रात में लेट आती हैं। वो करने के बाद अगले दिन इट गेट्स रिवाइज एंड इंक्रीजेस बाय ए परसेंटेज और सो फॉर्म 17C is the statutory form. There is nothing which VTR does not explain. It explains fully everything. Coming to the next and the last point, मिसमैच हो गया वोट्स पोल्ड एंड वोट्स काउंटेड में। एक इररेस्पॉन्सिबल, देखिए जब चुनाव का समय होता है एक न्यूज आ जाती है छोटी सी, कोई बोल देते हैं एक बात और वो लोगों को भ्रमित करती है। एक ऑनलाइन न्यूज चैनल ने निकाल दिया कि 5-5.5 लाख वोट ज्यादा काउंट हुए वीटीआर से। इतना भी जहमत नहीं उठाई कि वीटीआर में पोस्टल बैलेट्स नहीं होते। जैसे ही उनके संज्ञान में लाया गया पोस्टल बैलेट नहीं होते तो क्या किया, वो न्यूज स्टोरी ही विड्रॉ कर ली। लेकिन जो डैमेज होना था वो तो हो गया, सब में हल्ला हो गया कि 5.5 लाख वोट ज्यादा गिने गए। क्यों होता है ऐसा, ये भी मैं बताता हूं आज। इसका स्टैंडर्ड प्रोटोकॉल है, स्टैंडर्ड प्रोटोकॉल है, लिखित है। और जैसे मैंने आपको किताब दिखाई, ऐसी 70 हमारी हर प्रोसेस की इस तरीके की, इलेक्टरल रोल से रिलेटेड हो, काउंटिंग से रिलेटेड हो, पोलिंग एजेंट से रिलेटेड हो, पॉलिटिकल पार्टी हो, कोई सी भी प्रोसेस हो, सबकी सब वेबसाइट पर 70-80 हमारी पूरी की पूरी डिटेल्ड गाइडलाइंस उपलब्ध हैं, सर्कुलेटेड हैं पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज को। तो अगर किसी मशीन को ऑन नहीं हुई, किसी मशीन में मिसमैच, किसी मशीन के ऑन होने में गलत हो गया, या मॉक पोल का डाटा नहीं हटाया गया, कि 10.5 लाख में से 1, 2, 3, 4 जगह ऐसा हो सकता है, उस मशीन को एक तरफ रख लिया जाता है। जब काउंटिंग पूरी हो जाती है तो यह देखा जाता है कि जो विक्ट्री मार्जिन है अगर वो उस एक मशीन से कम है, तो then slips of that machines are counted. Otherwise, it is kept aside, and therefore that much number would be less counted, but it does not have any consequence as far as the result is concerned, because the margins are too high. And then Form 20 with exact details of candidates winning and losing is given to the candidates. ये कहा जाता है हमसे, एक और चीज कही जाती है, आप वीवीपैट स्लिप्स गिन लीजिए. वीवीपैट स्लिप्स भी गिन ली. लेट मी टेल द नेशन टुडे. 2019 के बाद जब माननीय उच्चतम न्यायालय ने कोर्ट में आदेश किया था कि 5 वीवीपैट्स अब हर असेंबली से गिनेंगे आफ्टर द रिजल्ट्स, 67,000 वीवीपैट्स हैव बीन काउंटेड. Over 4.5 crore slips have been counted. And after 2019, except the initial old machines, not even a difference of one vote which has been found. Not even one. Out of 4.5 crore slips counted across 67,000 VVPATs. What else can be the bigger kind of issue here? So friends, disclosure is our main pillar. हमने ER के ऊपर, वीवीपैट्स, FAQs, EVMs के ऊपर, काउंटिंग के ऊपर, इस सब के ऊपर में डिटेल्ड FAQs रिलीज किए हुए हैं, आप सबको कम्युनिकेट किए हुए हैं. फिर से उनकी लिंक आज दिए मैंने सबको. और इसके अतिरिक्त जैसे अभी बताया मैंने, हमने एक डाटा सेट रिलीज किया है. अभी जो प्रश्न पूछ रहे थे वो उस डाटा सेट को पढ़ें और आज प्रश्न पूछें, जितने प्रश्न पूछने. एक एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी का पोलिंग स्टेशंस, कैंडिडेट्स, दुनिया में किसी भी इलेक्शन मैनेजमेंट बॉडी ने या किसी भी इलेक्शन ने इतना डाटा अवेलेबल हो तो हमें बताएं. प्लीज glean, go through the websites of the election management bodies or election authorities of the world, and if anybody has that kind of a granular data, please tell us. It has whatever you want to know about elections. It has everything in that data, and we have carefully uploaded it, counted. जिन्होंने ये कहा कि इतनी वोटिंग पड़ी, इतना कम हो गया, इतनी कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी में इतना कम, reputed organizations have also joined this chorus. There is a case pending in the Honorable Supreme Court. We'll answer in detail there. But let them look inward and see if it is available anywhere in the world. Disclosure is our forte, and glean anywhere. General accusations मत लगाइए. कोई भी स्पेसिफिक एक्यूजेशन हो हमें बताइए, इस बूथ पर ये गड़बड़ी हुई, इस कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी में ये गड़बड़ी हुई, हम जवाब देंगे. ये हमारी ड्यूटी है, हम जवाब देंगे, पूरी इज्जत के साथ जवाब देंगे, पूरी विनम्रता के साथ जवाब देंगे. फिर से बिफोर कमिंग टू दिल्ली, इसको फिर से मैंने कुछ लिखा था, मैं अगर कह सकूं आज जाने से पहले. इरशाद, आरोपों और इल्जामात का दौर चले कोई गिला नहीं. आरोप और इल्जामात का दौर चले कोई गिला नहीं. झूठ के गुब्बारों को बुलंदी मिले कोई शिकवा नहीं. हर परिणाम में प्रमाण देते हैं, पर वो बिना सबूत शक की नई दुनिया रौनक करते हैं, और शक का इलाज तो हकीम लुकमान के पास भी नहीं. फ्रेंड्स, इंडिया इज गोल्ड स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑफ इलेक्शंस. ये हमारी साझी विरासत है, सभी स्टेक होल्डर्स की, पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज की, इलेक्शन कमीशंस की. कमीशन में कोई कॉन्स्पिरेसी, कोई गड़बड़ी की गुंजाइश हो ही नहीं सकती. इतने डिटेल्ड प्रोसीजर्स हैं. इंडिविजुअली कोई गलती करे तो हम सजा देने के लिए तैयार हैं, सजा लेने के लिए तैयार हैं. ये साझी विरासत है. अगर हमने इलेक्शन करा के अच्छे लोकतंत्र में बीज बोया है तो पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज ने उसमें खाद डाला है. ये सबकी साझी विरासत है. बहुत मेहनत से इसको बनाया है. कभी भी कोई प्रश्न आएगा तो हम पूरी निष्ठा के साथ उसका जवाब देंगे, लेकिन झूठ के गुब्बारे प्लीज मत उड़ाइए. बिकॉज इससे क्या हो रहा है, लोगों में एक भ्रम फैल जाता है, पता नहीं क्या गड़बड़ है. और प्लीज आस्क यंग वोटर्स अराउंड इन योर हाउस और नियर यू. वो भ्रमित होते हैं, कहते हैं क्या करना है वोट देके जाके. वी आर पुशिंग द यंगर लॉट टू, और दोज हु आर सिटिंग ऑन द फेंस, टू आउटसाइड, टू डिस्करेजिंग देम फ्रॉम वोटिंग. Please, it is our joint duty to encourage them voting. Coming to Delhi now. Next. Delhi has 70 constituencies, 58 general and SC constituencies are 12. If I come to the voter profile, voters, there are 1.55 crore voters as per the electoral rolls declared yesterday by the CO. 83.49 lakhs male and 71.74 female. Young voters are also 25.89. First time voters are 2.08 lakhs. This is what we are trying everywhere to get new voters. If we look at the PWD voters, there are 830 centenarian voters also. We have worked on transgender voters. We want them to please come and join us. There are 1.0985 plus voters. If I come to polling stations, there are 13,033 polling stations spread over 2,697 polling locations. Average is only 1191, 1191. ये भी एक प्रश्न पूछा गया था कि वोटर्स को संख्या ज्यादा क्यों है. Average is 1191. Across the country, the number ceiling is 1500. There are some booths in Delhi which are 1500 and plus, which will have auxiliary booths. और इस बार अगर आपने मुंबई का जिक्र देखा होगा, अर्बन एरियाज की बात कर रहा हूँ, तो बहुत फैसिलिटेशन बूथ्स में किया गया था. दिल्ली में भी वही तैयारी है. दिल्ली में भी बूथ्स को बहुत सुंदर बनाने की कोशिश करेंगे. जब आप रोल से पोल की बात करते हैं और जब पोलिंग स्टेशन पे आएंगे तो आपका अनुभव, आपका एहसास सुखद रहे, इसकी हम पूरी प्रयास करेंगे. प्लीज कम टू वोट इन लार्जर नंबर्स. विल प्रोवाइड ड्रिंकिंग वाटर, टॉयलेट, साइनेज, रैम्प, हेल्प डेस्क, वोटर फैसिलिटेशन सेंटर. जो हमारे पीडब्ल्यूडी मतदाता आएंगे या सीनियर सिटीजन्स आएंगे उनके लिए अलग से गाड़ी रखेंगे, वो व्हील चेयर रखेंगे या एक वॉलंटियर रखेंगे. सक्षम ऐप में जाके ऑल दी पीडब्ल्यूडी वोटर्स कैन बुक द फैसिलिटेशन इन एडवांस अगर उन्हें कोई मदद चाहिए हमारे पोलिंग स्टेशन पे. बट हमारी भी ड्यूटी है कि अगर कोई पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी हमारे बूथ पर आते हैं तो हम सब वोटर आजकल ये ट्रेंड हमने नया शुरू किया है. हम बड़ी कोई उनको सहानुभूति की जरूरत नहीं है, उनको बराबर की देने की जरूरत है. तो हम बड़ी इज्जत के साथ उनको लेके आते हैं, बड़े प्यार से लेके आते हैं. आई होप everywhere in society we treat our persons with disabilities who are more able than us with equal respect. फॉर्म 12D सर्कुलेट होंगे, सबके घर पहुंचाए जाएंगे. अगर कोई 85 प्लस घर से वोट करना चाहते हैं, दे विल बी मोस्ट वेलकम टू डू दैट. टेक्नोलॉजी का फर्स्ट वर्टिकल इज वोटर हेल्पलाइन ऐप. कोई भी मतदाता, I will request rather all the voters to please check their name online ताकि लास्ट मिनट में किसी को कोई प्रॉब्लम ना हो. मतदाता सूची में अपना नाम चेक करें, अपना पोलिंग स्टेशन चेक करें, अपने BLO का नंबर उसमें लिखा है वो चेक करें, उससे बात करें. और अगर आपका फ़ोन नंबर सीडेड है तो इवन यू कैन डाउनलोड योर एपिक इलेक्ट्रॉनिकली. कहीं कोई गड़बड़ आपकी नज़र में आए, लगे कोई MCC का वायलेशन है, सो अगेन आवर रिक्वेस्ट टू द वोटर्स ऑफ द Delhi to please register on CVigil, type or take a photo, tell us. We will reach there within very short time and respond to you what has happened there, what we did. Your complaint was right, wrong, partially right, and this is what we did within 100 minutes time. Know all your candidates, it's also very necessary. बहुत सारे लोगों की criminal backgrounds हो सकती हैं, उन सब की details इस ऐप पर रहेंगी. So please download and see all your candidates. उनका पूरा विवरण वहाँ रहेगा. उनको पब्लिश भी करना पड़ेगा. अगर किसी की कोई क्रिमिनल बैकग्राउंड है, दे विल हैव टू डिक्लेयर इट इन द न्यूज़पेपर्स, ऑन द पोर्टल्स एंड प्रोमिनेंटली 3 times. हम एम्पलीफाई करेंगे. विल एंश्योर दैट द राइट ऑफ द पीपल टू नो अबाउट द एंटीसीडेंट्स ऑफ देयर कैंडिडेट्स इज वेल प्रिजर्व्ड एंड देन दे मेक द इन्फॉर्म्ड चॉइस व्हाट दे वांट टू डू. सुविधा पोर्टल फॉर द कैंडिडेट्स. To all the candidates, prospective candidates are request कि आप सब सुविधाओं को ऑनलाइन मांगें, आपको उसी पे जवाब मिलेगा. गाड़ी का परमिशन लेना है, फील्ड्स का परमिशन लेना है, आपको कैंपेनिंग में ध्यान लगाएं, आराम से बढ़िया कैंपेनिंग करें. ये ऑफिस की दौड़ भाग से आपको बचाने के लिए ये एक अच्छा माध्यम है. और यहाँ पर हम फर्स्ट इन फर्स्ट आउट करेंगे. इफ़ यू अप्लाई फॉर ए ग्राउंड फर्स्ट, यू विल गेट इट फर्स्ट. So it's a kind of a single window. You don't have to run around. This is a good this thing. Money power, of course, we will be tackling for any inducement-free elections. सबकी बराबर चेकिंग होगी. हम चेकिंग में कोई भेदभाव नहीं करते. अभी पीछे के इलेक्शन में एक बड़ा भारी हल्ला हो गया कि हमारा हेलीकॉप्टर चेक कर दिया, उसका नहीं कर रहा है, इसका नहीं कर रहा है. गंदी गंदी भाषा का भी इस्तेमाल किया गया. हम अपने आप को रोक के रखते हैं. हम लेट मी से इट लाइक दिस, पोलिंग ऑफिशियल्स को धमकाने की स्टेज तक लोग चले जाते हैं बोलने में, लेकिन हम रोक लेते हैं अपने आप को इसलिए कि उससे लेवल प्लेइंग फील्ड डिस्टर्ब होती है. ये जो स्टार कैंपेनर्स हैं और जो पॉलिटिकल कैंपेन में जुड़े हुए हैं, उनकी ड्यूटी बनती है कि शिष्टाचार और सभ्यता का ध्यान रखें. कोई विमेन के बारे में कुछ बोल देता है, वी विल बी वेरी वेरी हार्श. अगर किसी ने भी, दिस इज अवर वार्निंग टू दी, मतलब इतना आवेश में ना आए कि महिलाओं के खिलाफ कोई गलत निकल जाए, शायद बच्चों को इस्तेमाल कर लें. विल बी रियली हार्श ऑन देम. दिस इज आवर रिक्वेस्ट विथ फोल्डेड हैंड्स दैट कैंपेन का स्तर ऐसे ना गिराएं जो नॉर्मल वोटर थोड़ा डिस्करेज हो जाए. लेट्स कीप दैट शालीनता इन माइंड. We'll be very, very strict with this. We have set up our teams and directed everyone to kind of be checking the inducements, if any. DOs and district magistrates and the ROs will ensure two things in particular, amongst many. Fair play and level playing field to every candidate irrespective of the party affiliation. This is what is the mantra which has been given to them. And if anybody, I am saying it in public and in press conference, if anybody violates that, we will take strictest possible action. But at the same time, we also request all the political parties to not create undue pressure on them. They work under tremendous public glaze. कब ईवीएम को ले जा रहे हैं, कब 17C दे रहे हैं, मतलब एक एक क्षण उनका हम देखते हैं पब्लिक ग्लेज में. उनके एक एक एक्शन हमारे जो रूल्स हैं उससे बाउंड हैं, वो रिकॉर्डेड हैं. आप रिटन में मांगिए आपने ये डिसीजन क्यों लिया, हम देंगे जवाब. हमारे हर आरओ आपको जवाब देगा. लेकिन शालीनता ना टूटे, नैरेटिव्स ना खराब बने, कैंपेन की शालीनता बनी रहे. इसी से हमारा लोकतंत्र आगे पनपेगा. Coming to the schedule now. So this is the schedule. We will start, it's a single phase election. Date of notification will be 10th of January, Friday. Last date of making nomination will be 17th of January. Scrutiny on 18th of January. Withdrawal 20th. These are the statutory periods of time which is given. Date of poll is 5th. And counting is 8th, and 5th again we have very deliberately kept Wednesday. क्योंकि हम सोचते हैं सब दिल्ली वाले वोट करें, इसलिए इस बार भी महाराष्ट्र की तरह हमने इसको वेडनेसडे में रखा है. Entire election process after counting will be complete by 10th. And this is, we are doing elections in by-polls also, in Milkipur in UP, and Erode in Tamil Nadu. Before you ask me why other by-polls are not being done, let me answer it here. Save one question from you. You can ask another question. There are two constituencies in J&K which are also due for election, Badgaon and Nagarota. Because of snow conditions, we will do it later. We still have time till April. Before that, we will complete those elections. There are two more. One is Vasir Ghat in West Bengal, parliamentary constituency, and one is Bisabadar in Gujarat MLA Assembly constituency. In both these cases, both are PC, sorry. In both these cases, there are election petitions pending, and the rule is that if a election petition is pending, we do not do by-elections there. The moment EPs are decided, we'll be ready to do it, as was the case with Milkipur earlier.
Sorry, sir, Visavadar is AC.
Visavadar is AC only, yeah, I know. So, friends, thank you very much. With this, I come to an end of this press conference. I would request, again, before ending, it's a festival which I am sure Delhi will celebrate in true spirits, and the campaign would be clutter-free, would not make the noises which are unwarranted. I request again that let Delhi vote with full participation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for this very comprehensive briefing. Now, please raise your hands and we will come for the Q&A session. Let's start with the gentleman in the first row. Please, Micah, please move. First row.
नमस्कार सर, यहाँ सर मैं मोहित दुबे हूँ न्यूज़ नेशन से सर। मेरा सवाल आपसे ये है कि हाल में ही आपने चुनाव आयोग ने कंडक्ट ऑफ इलेक्शंस रूल्स में काफ़ी बदलाव किए हैं और मेरा इससे सवाल यही है कि आखिर इसकी आवश्यकता आपको क्यों पड़ी, क्योंकि जो पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज हैं, खासतौर पे जो विपक्ष है, जो दूसरे दल है, वो ये कह रहे हैं कि पारदर्शिता का डर था, इस वजह से चुनाव आयोग ने फैसला किया है। आपकी इंटीग्रिटी पे सीधे तौर पर जो है सवाल उठाया जा रहा है। सर, एक छोटा सा सवाल और है, मध्य प्रदेश में जो अभी नतीजे हैं उसको लेके कांग्रेस पार्टी और दूसरे जो सहयोगी दल हैं उन्होंने आरोप लगाया कि जो वोटर लिस्ट में जो बदलाव हुआ था, जो मत जोड़े गए थे और जहां जोड़े गए थे वहां पे भारतीय जनता पार्टी को ज्यादा फायदा हुआ, कांग्रेस को, दूसरे दलों को नुकसान हुआ। क्या कहेंगे इस पर?
Let us go to the gentleman in the third row.
सर, मैं ऋषिकेश कुमार न्यूज़ 24 से हूँ। सर, आपने दो चीज़ कहा कि 2020 के बाद 24 चुनाव 16 में सिंगल राज्य पार्टी गैर बीजेपी रही। लोग ये भी पीछे पूछते हैं सर कि जहाँ राज्यसभा की सीटें जिन राज्यों में ज़्यादा होती है वहाँ सबसे ज़्यादा आरोप प्रत्यारोप लगते हैं इलेक्शन कमीशन पर। और दूसरा सर, महिलाओं को लेकर आपने कहा कि महिलाओं का सम्मान करना होगा, तो चुनाव से ठीक पहले दिल्ली में प्रियंका गांधी के गाल और सड़क का मामला है, तो क्या उस पर भी कुछ संज्ञान ले रही है या आने वाले वक्त में इस तरीके के बयानों को लेकर क्या देख रहे हैं?
Yes, please, Mr. Prabhu.
Good afternoon, sir. I just have 2 points to ask. First of all, thanks for explaining that entire process. It makes our life much easier. But apart from the question of, you didn't address why the rules. One is about the Aadhaar seeding with the electoral card. That's something that, initially you all had said it will not be mandatory. Now it is more or less become mandatory if you do it online. And of course, the larger process for you, you've done 31 elections. You are the best to give us advice on what are the election, reforms that are required. And sadly, not much has been touched upon it. There's still the issue of, as you yourself in your presentation said, it is all numbered.
So the dates for Delhi have been announced. 5th of February will be the date for polling, single-phase polling across the 70 assembly seats of Delhi, and 8th will be result day. Saturday, 8th of February will be result day. Bang in the middle of the week is when Delhi goes to poll, so no taking off for a weekend or a long weekend, etc. So that's why Election Commission saying 5th, Wednesday. Similar format as Aman Sharma was telling us, was followed for Maharashtra, and perhaps the Election Commission, lot more wiser post Lok Sabha polls, that having elections closer to the weekend means that the voter tends to scoot off not doing their fundamental duty or responsibility, that is to go ahead and vote. But 71 lakh plus women voters, 83 lakh plus male voters, more than 1.55 crore voters in Delhi. That's what's the numbers that were outlined by the election commissioner as he was telling us the entire mechanism, and he spent a large part of that press conference, about 50-minute long press conference, was focused only on trying to detail how the EVMs are not hacked. Zaka Jacob with us, Rahul Shivshankar in the studio with us, Pallavi Ghosh and Aman also with us. Zaka, your reaction on
My
Delhi?
first reaction is 1st of February is a Saturday, budget day, we're all going to be working. 8th of February, counting day, is also a Saturday. We're all going to be working. Why can't we have our weekends off? That's my first reaction.
First reaction, but I think it's going to be a hard-working 2025. And if the Election Commission is working, the government is working, then all of us work. That's how. That's where it is. But Rahul Shivshankar, long, at least 35 minutes he spent on explaining how EVMs cannot be hacked. The entire VVPAT and voting, there is no, de-link there. We've tested so many till date, he said. And he went through the entire mechanism of what happens from the time the polling booth opens to the time the polling booth closes and how these EVMs are open and shut.
Light is the best disinfectant. And I think that the CEC here in his specific case has done the right thing by addressing all these anomalies from the Election Commission podium, making it completely official, addressing pretty much every doubt that has been raised post the Maharashtra elections and during, of course, the various stages of the Lok Sabha elections with regards to voter turnout, tabulation of votes, the turnout figures being corrected and then overcorrected and so on and so forth, and the cancellation of voter rolls, just about every question. And he's done it in a very detailed presentation that looks at each question, like an FAQ basically, all the doubts and the responses. And he's also said that, look, I think that a great disservice is being done to the young voter because there is a deliberate attempt, he says, to try and instill a sense of underconfidence in them, India's future that is, in the electoral process, which will only create anarchy in this country. And he seems to suggest that this is a deliberate attempt at that. So there's a little bit of a political pushback from the election commissioner.
Interesting that we're showing Arvind Kejriwal with the Delhi voters and the Mahila voters. There is CM Atishi there. But what do the rules say, Aman? Can Arvind Kejriwal contest?
Well,
or will he have to take,
contest,
or he's out on bail, or will he have to take permission from the courts to contest?
No, he can certainly contest. There is no bar
but he
on
can't
him
enter
contesting.
the chief
He's
minister's
not convicted in any case so far. He can easily.
Amritpal Singh can contest elections.
But in this case, he's currently been barred from entering the chief minister's office or to sign any papers.
See, there's a twist in that, Anand. The Supreme Court conditions basically say you can't go to the CM's office, but you cannot sign files, but files which need the assent of the LG. Or files which need assent of, the Lieutenant Governor, you can, 90% files in Delhi need the assent of the LG. So technically, he can become the Chief Minister. There is no bar on him becoming the Chief Minister. But all of that said, I think it will be, I think it all depends on numbers.
So a Chief Minister who does not live in an officially designated Chief Minister's residence and a Chief Minister who cannot go to the Chief Minister's office but can be Chief Minister.
He can return to Sheesh Mahal if he becomes the Chief Minister.
That's possible. So Pallavi Ghosh, your thoughts on the poll dates? Saturday elections, Saturday budget, like Zaka said. Monday markets open.
Well,
Wednesday,
I've always
Delhi
worked
goes to
on a
polls.
Saturday, and thanks to you on a Sunday as well. So I can't be complaining on that. It's interesting because this election is going to be just after the budget, which is going to be on the 1st. So it is going to be the Delhi election pe nazar rakhne wala budget, because I think what we are picking up from the finance ministry also is a lot of kind of wooing of the traders. That's a very powerful community. Some SOPs and those MSMEs, the usual ones, the tax benefits, whatever is possible as far as the middle class is concerned. We can hope that it has an impact on the voters' mindset, because as we all have been discussing, for the BJP, it's a very, very important election which they want to win, they need to win kind of a situation. And therefore, it's very interesting, I would say, because this budget is going to be an election budget, even if it's for the Delhi election. So, yeah, I would want to see what is it that Nirmala Sitharaman offers, what is it that the government offers to kind of influence and woo the voters of Delhi.
The dates also, Anand, are very, there's a strategy behind this. In past elections, whenever elections have been coupled with close to a weekend, Friday or a Monday, what urban apathy happens, people take off the weekend and go off and the polling percentage drops. So we saw it in Maharashtra, EC deliberately keeping the poll on a Wednesday, and we saw record polling in Maharashtra, almost 67%, highest in many years. So I think EC is going with that same formula.
Mumbai people did not go out and vote.
Yeah, Mumbai it was still higher. It was still higher than last time, but yeah.
Worli was pathetic. People were not turning up.
I think EC is hoping the same for Delhi, that people don't scoot off to Mussoorie on a weekend. If you are on Wednesday in Delhi, please vote. And the voting percentage in Delhi is also not very high.
Let's hope the sun turns out and it's not foggy either, because people need reasons to not vote rather than reasons to go out and vote. And that's something which perhaps we have to fight, this urban apathy. Payal Mehta is with us. Payal Mehta, your thoughts? Is this going to be an Aam Aadmi ka budget? Will the Saturday announcements have an impact on Wednesday?
Well, just to play the spoil sport over here, all of you guys are worried about Saturday, but people like us who are on the field will have to work on Sunday also, because that's going to be the last ditch campaigning that the BJP and the other parties will do. Having said that, we have a budget session which will go on till about 13th or 14th of February. So it's going to be a two weekends which are going to be working for us. But like I said, yeah, this was the day that everybody was waiting for, Anand. The announcement of the poll dates was most importantly watched out for. Before that, the Prime Minister has already had 2 rallies in the national capital, doled out a number of important projects, infrastructure projects, and basically spoken about the fact that people of Delhi need to vote wisely this time around, given the fact that it is going to be a decider of an election. The BJP does see a huge window of opportunity over here, given the fact that Arvind Kejriwal and half of his cabinet have toured jail multiple times. And probably that's the reason the BJP feels that corruption is one angle which sticks with people. That is the angle on which they came to power in 2014, throwing out the UPA government as well. So development, corruption, working on the fact that the double engine government really benefits the country all over the place that we've seen in BJP ruled states, and this is going to be no different. But like I said, again, the one thing to watch out for will be how Congress's performance will be, because if the Congress does poorly, it's definitely bad news for the BJP.
Congress does poorly, bad news for the BJP. Is the Congress going to campaign actively? That's another aspect. But Zaka, where do you think the BJP will have to make inroads? The aspect is, if they have to come back strongly, their policies, the budget, it has to focus somewhere which will trigger something for it to happen in Delhi. Otherwise, what is the Aam Aadmi going to go back and Aam Aadmi Party going to do? To ensure
the BJP traditionally in Delhi has been sort of a West Delhi party. The trader class, the Banya class were always a BJP constituency. But over the last couple of elections, the Punjabi voters in places like all the way from Karol Bagh, Patel Nagar, Rajouri Garden, the last couple of elections, the Aam Aadmi Party has really got a stranglehold on that western part of Delhi, all the way, like I said, from Rajinder Nagar, further west to Hari Nagar, Rajouri Garden, and all the way to, Janakpuri, Vikaspuri, etc. This used to be the sort of trader community vote bank of the BJP, which the Aam Aadmi Party has managed to make very serious dents into in the last couple of election cycles. The other critical voters are on the other side of Delhi, which is on the Jamna Par side of Delhi, which is on the east of the Yamuna River, which is the Purvanchal vote, the migrants who come from eastern Uttar Pradesh or Bihar, many of whom, like for example, we've been talking about auto drivers and Ola and Uber drivers. That's become a significant constituency for the Aam Aadmi Party in the last couple of election cycles. Out of 25 seats, 21 at a vote share of above 50% have gone with the Aam Aadmi Party. So on the east and on the west of Delhi, these two influential vote banks, which the Aam Aadmi Party has managed to sort of get a kabza on. And then, of course, the Juggi Jopadi voter, the JJ clusters as they are known as here in Delhi, in large parts of even central Delhi. And that's the thing, that's the beauty with Delhi, right? You have the richest people in Lutyens, Delhi. You also have some of the poorest voters in those very same constituencies. The New Delhi constituency, which Arvind Kejriwal represents, RK Puram. You also have Rajinder Nagar, as I said a moment ago. Then you have Jangpura, where from Manish Sisodia is contesting this time around. There is Kalkaji, where Atishi is contesting from. There is Tughlakabad. These are all, right in the heart of Delhi. This is where, as the famous phrase of Lutyens, Delhi originates from. And yet you have significant populations of slum dwellers, JJ cluster dwellers, as they are known here in Delhi, who have again been a dominant Aam Aadmi Party vote bank. 18 of those seats, all 18 won by the Aam Aadmi Party.
There are many reactions coming through. Sandeep Dixit has spoken, Virendra Sachdeva has spoken, and now Manish Sisodia is speaking. We'll play all of that out. First, Manish Sisodia.
5 फरवरी को जैसा चुनाव आयोग ने भी कहा है कि बुधवार का दिन है, वोट जरूर डालने जाएं और 8 फरवरी को जब नतीजे आएंगे तो उसके लिए हम पूरी तरह तैयार हैं कि आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार फिर से बनेगी केजरीवाल जी के।
सर, मुख्य चुनाव आयुक्त ने वोटर डिलीशन के मुद्दे पर भी अपनी बात रखी है। उन्होंने कहा कि पूरी प्रक्रिया पारदर्शी थी। आप जो सवाल उठा रहे थे,
नहीं, पारदर्शी प्रक्रिया पे ही हमने सवाल उठाए हैं। पारदर्शी प्रक्रिया जिसको वो कह रहे हैं, उसमें कहीं ना कहीं कुछ क्वेश्चंस हैं, उनके जवाब दे दें कि भाई कैसे भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कार्यकर्ताओं के नाम पर कई 100 लोगों के नाम वोटर लिस्ट से डिलीट कराने की एप्लीकेशन स्वीकार की जा रही हैं, उन पर कार्रवाई की जा रही है। कैसे ये हो रहा है कि जो लोग दिखाए जा रहे हैं कि इन्होंने किसी का वोटर लिस्ट से नाम कटाने के लिए नाम दिया, वो लोग ही गायब हैं, वो लोग ही नहीं हैं। फर्जी एप्लीकेंट्स वोट कटवाने के लिए फर्जी एप्लीकेंट्स के नाम का इस्तेमाल किया जा रहा है, कैसे हो रहा है, और अगर कोई कर रहा है तो उसके खिलाफ चुनाव आयोग क्या कार्रवाई कर रहा है, इसको भी पारदर्शी बता देते। वो बता देते कि हाँ जी हमने संज्ञान में लिया था, इतने लोग फर्जी एप्लीकेंट पाए गए जिन्होंने चुनाव आयोग को नाम कटवाने के लिए झूठी मिसलीडिंग इंफॉर्मेशन दी थी और हमने उनको उठा के जेल में बंद कर दिया है। बहुत अच्छा लगता है, हमें लगता है चुनाव आयोग बहुत एक्शन में है, लेकिन चुनाव आयोग के मन की बात आधा पौना घंटा में कह के अगर वो ये नहीं बता पा रहे हैं कि जिन लोगों ने गलत एप्लीकेशंस डाली उनकी एप्लीकेशन स्वीकार करने वाले ऑफिसर्स क्यों, उनका नाम हाइड क्यों किया जा रहा है, जिन लोगों ने गलत और भ्रामक तरीके से लोगों के वोट कटवाने के लिए झूठे झूठे एप्लीकेशंस लगाए हैं, जिन लोगों ने मतलब एप्लीकेंट भी झूठे हैं, वो एप्लीकेंट भी मना कर रहे हैं कि जी मैंने तो किया ही नहीं। तो ऐसे में कौन कर रहा है ये कार्रवाई, उन्होंने क्या एक्शन लिया? जो लोग 1100 रुपए बांटते हुए पकड़े गए उनके खिलाफ क्या एक्शन लिया? मान जाएंगे बहुत निष्पक्ष है, केवल मन की बात और दिल की बात टीवी पे बैठ के कह देने से काम थोड़ी चलता है कि हाँ जी।
आप लोग सवाल खड़े करे थे, खास करके नई दिल्ली के चुनाव अधिकारी थे, उन्होंने सीसी नेवी का चुनाव अधिकारियों के दबाव में बनाए, उन्हें पारदर्शी तरीके से
नहीं, डेमोक्रेसी है भाई। अगर
Right. Now, the election commissioner, there was a post-briefing question answers with the reporters going on, and he specifically spoken on the aspect of freebies. During the MCC, will the election commission say anything on it? He says in the Subramaniam Balaji case, the Supreme Court has ruled that freebies can't be stopped, so our hands are tied. But he was also very strong in his opinion on comments made by the likes of Ramesh Biduri, and he said anybody who makes such comments, we should be unequivocally criticizing or condemning such comments. And now that the MCC has kicked in, we will take strong action against anybody who crosses the line of decency in terms of electoral campaigning and rhetoric. BJP Virendra Sachdeva will try and play that out. He said, "Fir jayenge Kejriwal, Tihar jayenge Kejriwal," taking a dig at "Fir aayenge Kejriwal." That's the Aam Aadmi Party's line here, slogan. And he has said, "Aapda ja rahi hai, Bhajpa aa rahi hai." So this Aapda, let's Virendra Sachdeva is speaking.
हम इन तारीखों का बहुत बेसब्री से इंतजार कर रहे थे, हम स्वागत करते हैं। 5 फरवरी दिल्ली के 1,55,24,858 मतदाता एक बेहतर दिल्ली, सुंदर दिल्ली और एक स्वच्छ दिल्ली बनाने का संकल्प लेंगे। दिल्ली में बदलाव की तारीख है वो, और 8 तारीख को जब नतीजे आएंगे तो उस दिन स्पष्ट होगा कि आपदा सरकार जा रही है, भाजपा सरकार आ रही है।
सर, वोटर डिलीशन को लेकर तमाम तरीके की जो भ्रांतियां हैं उनको कहीं ना कहीं तोड़ा। आज सीईसी ने साफ कर दिया कि एक पूरा प्रोसेस है, उसके तहत डिलीशन हो रही है।
जो लोग चुनाव आयोग की निष्पक्षता पर आवाज़ उठा रहे थे वो अपनी हार से बचने का बहाना ढूंढ रहे थे। तो आज चुनाव आयोग ने स्पष्ट कर दिया कि झूठ के गुब्बारों की बहुत ज़्यादा उम्र नहीं होती है, उन्होंने फटना ही है। तो आज मुझे लगता है राघव चड्ढा हो, आतिशी मार लेना हो, संजय सिंह हो, सबको स्पष्ट संकेत दे दिया गया है कि चुनाव आयोग जैसी जो स्वायत्त संस्थाएं हैं ये निष्पक्ष और निर्भीक होकर काम करती हैं, उन पर राजनीतिक दबाव काम नहीं करते।
आप अभी गाना गुनगुना रहे थे, आम आदमी पार्टी की जो मेलोडी है उस पर गाना गुनगुना रहे थे क्या?
मैं उन वर्डिंग्स को ठीक कर रहा था, मुझे लगता है उन्होंने गाने में गलती की है। वो गाना है कि फिर जाएंगे केजरीवाल, तिहाड़ जाएंगे केजरीवाल।
All right, so Delhi BJP chief clearly putting his point forward as far as elections in the national capital is concerned. With Governor Sumit Jaguri, this is Akash Sharma for CNN News 18.
Well, Sandeep Dixit, Sharon was there right outside his residence. He's come out and spoken with Sharon Elizabeth. We'll play that out where he says we are not soft on the Aam Aadmi Party. We're going to give them a tough fight, and it's a three-way fight. BJP versus AAP versus Congress, and he's gone on to say that Congress has both BJP and Aam Aadmi Party today enjoy former voters of the Congress party, and we can pull them back, and if we work hard to get them back, they are all going to get a run for the money. We'll make things difficult. We are in the play. That's what he has turned around and said. Sandeep Dixit's comments, we'll play that out. But Pallavi, is that possible? Is the Congress serious about making a comeback? They've announced one of their first guarantees yesterday, and you made a point that the big guns were absent.
Absolutely. The Gandhis were not there. The Congress president was not there. It's a very low-key campaign. I mean, I'm waiting to see that what really happens when they're going to be out and about and campaigning. Will the Gandhis campaign extensively? Will there be other high-profile or charismatic leaders of the Congress party? Will they be unleashed? Will an Ajay Makan go out because he's a strong advocate of the fact that we should never have had an alliance with Aam Aadmi Party? Will he be actually going out and about? Will Makan actually campaign for Sandeep Dixit? these are going to be very, very important factors. No one can miss the fact that the Congress party itself seems to be very half-hearted and disinterested. I mean, why couldn't these names have been announced much, much earlier? I mean, there was a lot of cajoling which Alka Lamba needed to contest opposite Atishi for that factor. And, they are not getting other big-ticket names also coming out and contesting. The campaign is going to be very important, but I think by now the impression which has gone out, and that seems to be getting cemented, is that the Congress is fighting because हमें लड़ना है, हमारा alliance नहीं हो पाया आपके साथ, so might as well go and contest.
So you feel like अरे लड़ना पड़ रहा है लड़ रहे हैं, नहीं लड़ना चाहते हैं लड़ रहे हैं. That's not the attitude. Arvind Kejriwal just tweeted. Tehseen Poonawala with us, Geeta Bhatt with us, and also Ravi Srivastav. Namaste, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Thank you very much for joining us. चुनाव की तारीख, I'm just reading out his tweet. I'm just going to read out his tweet, Arvind Kejriwal's tweet. He says, चुनाव की तारीख का ऐलान हो चुका है. सभी कार्यकर्ता पूरी ताकत और जोश के साथ मैदान में उतरने के लिए तैयार हो जाएं. आपके जुनून के आगे इनके बड़े-बड़े तंत्र फेल हो जाते हैं. आप ही हमारी सबसे बड़ी ताकत हैं. ये चुनाव काम की राजनीति और गाली गलौज की राजनीति के बीच होगा. दिल्ली की जनता का विश्वास हमारी काम की राजनीति के साथ होगा. हम जरूर जीतेंगे. That's what Arvind Kejriwal is saying. Tehseen Poonawala.
It's time to say bye-bye Arvind Kejriwal. Delhi saying hi Arvind Kejriwal. I accept all the charges Ravi Srivastav is going to make in Delhi in advance. LG didn't allow him to work. BJP is bad. Prime Minister is bad. Amit Shah is bad. Congress is bad. Sheila Dikshit was bad. In Punjab, they promised 1,000 rupees per month to the women. There is no LG there. There is no government there. You have Rahul here. You have Zaka here. You guys are neutral. Please check. Why have they not fulfilled the Punjab promise? Second question. Lokpal and Lokayukta on which you came to government. Chalo, let's say LG is blocking you in Delhi. Why didn't you implement it in Punjab? You said the pollution in Delhi will reduce once you come to government in Punjab. Why you not reduce the pollution? The fact of the matter is neither is Yamuna ji clear. Nothing has happened. Tell me the 50 colleges that Arvind Kejriwal ji's government has started. And one last question, just one question I want to know. There have been restrictions put by the Honorable Supreme Court of India on Shri Arvind Kejriwal ji. How will Arvind Kejriwal ji become chief minister again if those restrictions continue to remain? Because they haven't gone to court to remove those restrictions. So how does he become chief minister again? So please, except for once again trying to fool the good people of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal ji and his party is doing nothing. It is time to tell them bye-bye.
Ravi Srivastav.
Good afternoon, Tehseen bhai. First of all, I think he forgot that election is in Delhi and not in Punjab. So he should not remind the audience that Punjab promises have not been fulfilled. As far as Delhi promises are concerned, I think whatever Kejriwal said, he did. And any government, if it completes 50% of whatever they promised, I think they should be considered to be a above average governance. I agree. I admit, I'm not denying that Yamuna cleaning and pollution, these were the two issues where I think Arvind Kejriwal has lacked the target and he could not do it. So that remains there. But frothing in Yamuna, we can go and see every morning and evening, but nobody goes and sees the frothing Yamuna in 100 kilometers away in Yamuna, in Mathura. Nobody sees that and nobody objects to that. So, let us not be selective about these things and make sure that what Kejriwal said, he tried to fulfill it. And he is a man of his words. He has, in past two elections, I can quote his own words. If I have not worked, if I have not discharged my duties, not fulfilled my promises, do not vote for me. Can any politician have that kind of a courage? Show me in the whole country.
Mr. Kejriwal's word between 2013 to 2023, there are a lot of them doing the rounds, so let's not get into that. But in this case, right now, is it a three-way fight, Rahul Shivshankar, as you take the conversation forward? Is the BJP in the mix this time? Will they get it right as challengers?
Even if the BJP wins this election, we will only be rewarding a party that has spent the last 10 years trying to trip up the chief minister through the LG's office. Let's be very honest about this. I'm very upset about the fact that there is, at the heart of this, an unbearable unaccountability. There is literally double anti-incumbency in the city of Delhi. Unfortunately, it is a state without statehood. And the greatest promise that could ever have been made to the people, the greatest guarantee, is only going to be mentioned as a footnote, as one of the directive principles of state policy. We shall aim to relieve this country of poverty, etc., etc. But in these two parties, both the AAP and the BJP, that promise Ram Rajya, they haven't worked like Love and Kush. They've actually worked like Romulus and Remus. They have been fighting and fighting and fighting, and who has been caught? It's all of us, the citizenry. The actual Aam Aadmi has suffered. So even if the BJP were to come into power, they will be rewarded for 10 years, really, of obstructionism. And on the other hand, of course, if Kejriwal were to win, how does it affect our lives? Nothing will change. They'll be back in the same game of one-upmanship, and Mr. Kejriwal will constantly blame the LG for everything. He said, "Main kya karu? I bring out a policy, it is stopped at the Raj Bhavan." So and if you bring in the Congress, you again perpetuate the same, because the NDA ain't going away anywhere in a hurry from the center. So the LG office will be used again, the Congress will come in. The basic solution here is statehood, full statehood for Delhi. It doesn't matter, your vote doesn't count. It's the same cynical politics that will repeat itself, the same scorched earth politics that will repeat itself in Delhi. It doesn't matter who comes to power.
Yeah, Dr. Geeta, but if the voter votes for BJP and they say double engine ki sarkar, MCD is with Aam Aadmi Party. So then again there will be this whole thing about hum to kar rahe hain, MCD mein nahi ho raha. So what's the solution?
Anand, see, I mean, people of Delhi are going to vote very wisely, and Aam Aadmi Party, you know, in the last more than 10 years now, you see, when Mr. Kejriwal had come, he had a clean slate. There was no baggage attached to him, and that gave him a advantage point. Because of which a lot of people, even the middle class, you know, they had a lot of sympathy and they had a large support extended to him. But in the last 10 years, the way Aam Aadmi Party has functioned, whether it was, let us not forget what happened in 2020, the East Delhi riots, how the people who were part of the assembly and were representatives of Aam Aadmi Party, how their MLAs have been involved in that. Their whole model of education which they have been talking about. It is so unfortunate that the 12 Delhi University colleges, which are totally in control of Delhi government, 100% financed by Delhi government, their faculty, professors' salaries, the non-teaching salary, that is not being paid for almost 3 months. Imagine, these people, they are not able to pay their house EMIs, their car EMIs, or all other, you know, challenges in terms of school fees. The non-teaching staff, they actually had to take out money from their provident funds to pay school fees of their children. I mean, this is, you know, violation of human rights. This is the kind of an education model that Mr. Kejriwal has been proposing and propagating through his government in Delhi. Whether it is in terms of cleaning of Yamuna, it has become more of a joke now when if he again comes and says that give me 5 years and I'm going to clean Yamuna. So on every aspect, even in terms of appointing people in Delhi government, the advertisements they come, there in some the examination has taken place, it's been more than 2 years in terms of, you know, class B, C employee appointments. But nothing happens. Advertisement comes, there is no recruitment which is happening. So, you see, I mean, there could be right and wrong on both the sides. But if in totality we look at the functioning of Aam Aadmi Party, it has been more about jumlas rather than actual implementation.
So you're saying when they came, they did not have the baggage of perception. Right now, are they now the victims of their own politics of perception? And is that what's going to dent them more than the opposition? We have to wait and watch. We take this conversation forward, but let's just quickly listen into Sandeep Dikshit in conversation with Sharon Elizabeth.
I am joined by Congress New Delhi candidate Mr. Sandeep Dikshit. The dates are announced. 5th is the voting, February 5th is the voting day, and counting is on 8th. How well is the Congress party prepared? Because what the experts have been saying is that the Aam Aadmi Party has taken a lead by announcing their candidates in December itself.
I don't think announcing candidates earlier or later makes that much of a difference. There are certain parties
Aam Aadmi Party has been doing that, announcing their candidates in places like Goa and Haryana much in advance, and it means nothing. Thing is, do you have your voters ready? Do you have your campaign ready? Do you have an ethos that attracts voters to you? Are voters looking at replacing you or electing you? I think that is what is important. And that is where Aam Aadmi Party is having its biggest defeat. It's not understanding that people are fairly fed up with their lack of governance and the kind of lies that they've constantly been speaking. And of course, to add on to that, all the allegations of corruption.
Do you think there is a confusion between the voters because the Congress and Aam Aadmi Party comes in alliance during the Lok Sabha election, in assembly election, they are targeting each other, standing against each other. Do you think there is a confusion in the voters' mind?
No. I think confusers know, and voters also know the difference between state and national elections. I've always quoted, long time back, there was a case in which there was simultaneous elections in a state for Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha, and people voted separately for different governments in either way. So people are pretty aware of what they vote for. They also understand why parties come together to form certain formations or alliances at a particular level and don't do that at another. I don't think there's that confusion amongst Delhi voters.
What do you have to say about BJP and Aam Aadmi Party saying that it is a fight between the BJP and AAP? Congress is nowhere to be seen.
Okay, that's okay. I mean, see, they have a separate set of voters, right? And they want to keep their separate set of voters intact. Congress is the only party that can pull votes from both Aam Aadmi and BJP. So if any of them recognize that the third party is important, they will realize that a lot of their voters start moving to Congress. So for both of them, it is important to maintain a charade that it is either BJP or Aam Aadmi.
One last question. Is the Congress party soft on the Aam Aadmi Party? Is this a friendly match between them?
Not at all. Not at all. I don't think Aam Aadmi Party is in any way something that we are soft on. We believe that Aam Aadmi Party is solely responsible for the destruction of Delhi. It is solely responsible for the corruption that it has done. And a party such as this, at least we in Delhi cannot align with.
All right. Thank you. So that was Sandeep Dikshit, the Congress candidate for the New Delhi constituency.
He, of course, will be taking on Arvind Kejriwal in the New Delhi constituency. Mr. Kejriwal has made this election a referendum on himself. He was in jail for about 6 months in the Liquorgate scandal. He came out in bail. He said, I'm not going to go back and occupy the Chief Minister's chair until I win the confidence of the people of Delhi once again. So he has made corruption the central issue. Now, I have 2 points to make on this, but I'll get the guests also on this after this. Number one, I don't think, other than some sections in the middle class who, even how about corruption, frankly, to the actual voting class in this country, I don't think corruption is, frankly, that big an issue. The poor depend on doles. Now you can call it raveries. That seems to be the term in fashion. Whoever gives me better raveries, whoever gives me better doles, that's who the poor are voting for. So I don't think, other than a very, minuscule section of the middle class, corruption is really not an issue. But having said that, I think there's a qualitative difference between the Liquorgate allegations on Mr. Kejriwal or Sisodia or whoever else and this whole Sheesh Mahal business. And I say this because those pictures of those golden faucets and golden commodes, first of all, why do you need gold-plated commodes? I mean, does it make the bowel movements easier? I mean, what's going on there? What it does is it gives out a perception, it gives out an image of a man who came with a Reynolds ballpoint pen, driving a Maruti Wagon-R with a muffler around his neck. Why does he need a gold-plated faucet or a gold-plated commode, right? That perception of being an Aam Aadmi, that perception of being Kattar Imandar, that is dented.
Yeah.
On the Liquorgate, he can still argue, and there is some merit in that argument, that look, nothing has been proven in the court of law. He's not signed on any file. He was not the minister in charge there. The money trail has not been proven. So some of the benefit of the doubt is still, it's a gray area. Whereas the Sheesh Mahal business, I mean, that house was going to be resided by you and your family members. It's not being made for anybody else. It's not being thrown open to the people of Delhi to come and reside. It's not an Airbnb. It's for the Chief Minister to live in.
They should make it into a nice boutique hotel.
There is a number that was put that had the house been built on the estimate that was submitted, 21% inflation plus, 8 crores, and the remaining money had it been used to make these shelters for those who are shivering in the nights, how many more shelters could have been built and why that did not go, and that's doing the rounds. And that's why I said the politics of perception. We got more news coming through. We'll go to Arunima for this. The CEC has very clearly said that the union budget to be presented on the 1st of February cannot have any Delhi-specific policy, and that the CEC is going to write to the Cabinet Secretary today itself. Yes, Arunima.
Yes, that was a concern raised that if Delhi is going to vote on the 5th, which is just 4 days after the union budget is presented, will it not give an unfair advantage to the ruling dispensation, the Bharatiya Janata Party, which is one of the main players for Delhi as well? The Chief Election Commissioner said that they are going to write to the Cabinet Secretary today itself and say that in the budget, there can be no Delhi-specific announcement, no Delhi-specific policy that can be announced by the Finance Minister. He, however, clarified that if there is anything that is announced for the rest of the country and it is applicable to Delhi, that is not barred in this letter that is going to be written. So, for example, hypothetically, if there is any income tax relief that is announced in the union budget, it is going to be of it is going to be good news for all of Indian middle class. If that also includes Delhi, the CEC says Election Commission of India does not have any objection to that. But if you are going to announce any infrastructural project, any metro project, any train-related project for Delhi specifically, that cannot be done. One will have to wait and see if this clarification is good enough for the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress, which are in direct fight with the BJP in the national capital.
Well, there is also about reading between the lines and how to write those lines very smartly. If cleaning up of the Yamuna from Haryana all the way up to Mathura happens, then Delhi falls in the way.
I think the CEC is only, checking the formality box here, because there are ways of giving large, and look, your mainstay of the voting class in Delhi is also the middle class, it's the trading community. Lots of SOPs can be given.
Say the MSMEs and all of that, you announce something. So
even if 1 second, I mean, let's be very clear about this. Even if there is a Delhi specific SOP that is announced in the budget, what can the CEC do? Is he going to take the finance minister to court? I mean, these are all red herrings. These don't really matter. What really matters is
formality box.
Exactly. You've ticked a box. That's all it really matters. But I think ultimately, I come back to that point about corruption, and Ravi Srivastava, Tehseen, you guys can weigh in on this. Yes, Mr. Kejriwal came to power riding on this whole India against corruption, corruption against Sheila Dikshit and all of that. And he won power and he won resounding mandates, both in 15 and in 20. But that halo is gone. Whether or not that results in Aam Aadmi Party losing power in Delhi, I don't know. But certainly this, I'm a Kattar Imandar image seems to have gone, Mr. Srivastava. Even you have to, admit that.
Can I respond to Zaka, please?
Yeah. Ravi Srivastava, then Tehseen, yeah.
Wonderful. I'm fully in agreement with you, Zaka. There is no doubt about it that halo has been, removed, and kind of statement, the kind of tall claims made in the beginning do not stay valid anymore. But another fact is that whatever he promised to the people of Delhi, he tried to fulfill that. I think that water, electricity, the Tirth Yatra, the Sanjeevani Yojana, the Samman Rashti, the auto rickshaw, all those things, he tried to live with that and he tried to fulfill that. And despite, I'm very appreciative of Rahul Shivshankar today, the right question he raised with the hands and the legs tied, how this government could work. And in the Supreme Court giving the full powers to the Delhi, and the government goes to the parliament, brings an ordinance and gets it again dismantled, and tries to harass the Aam Aadmi Party government for no less than 3, 4, 5 years like that, not allowing any of their good work to continue. Is it the way of running a state government in the country? I think the BJP should be ashamed.
All this is, thank you and all of that. But the point is that, no, 1 second. A few days back, I raised the same point. I said the problem with the Kejriwal campaign is that it lacks credibility because the Sheesh Mahal story, or call it what you want to, has actually dented very, very hard the plank of Gandhian asceticism, austerity, simplicity that Mr. Kejriwal sort of sought to distinguish himself from the others. and this renunciation of VIP culture. I still don't know if there is a corruption angle there, but fundamentally, as optics go, it doesn't in any way distinguish him from the other members of the political class that he actually, as a movement, was standing against. And if the raison d'etre for the Aam Aadmi Party, the name Aam Aadmi, one of you, if that is gone, then what am I supposed to think as an elector, as a real Aam Aadmi? How do I vibe with this party? How do I think that this party is actually going to take my interests forward? That is a fundamental question.
No, here's another question, sir. Sanjeevani is being announced now. Why was Sanjeevani not announced by Mr. Kejriwal at the peak of the pandemic? Why was it not said that anybody above 70 years thereafter will get free healthcare? And even now, sir, it's not got cabinet ratification. Mr. Kejriwal actually changed the dynamic of what is actually his own cabinet has ratified. 1,000 rupees for women. He overturned that and said, no, 2100 rupees denge. But where was a cabinet meeting for that? He did it during a political rally. That's how he changed it. Now, is this the aspect of those who respect Samvidhan, who came up from the roots of democracy and said that we will only grow its roots further and make it stronger? Does it reflect of the same muffler man in a Wagoner with a Reynolds pen like Zaka said? Or does it reflect of someone who's now become authoritative and so consumed with his own sense of power? These are questions people of Delhi are asking. It's a perception within the people of Delhi. And your own thing is right now, the BJP and the Congress both seem too far away, drifted away, because they've not got their own leadership sorted. Geeta Bhattji, you're talking so much about the Delhi education system and the letdown in the DU. But what has the BJP been able to do there? Has the BJP done great work in the field of education? Has it really done phenomenal work on colleges and universities that are beyond the DU's, beyond the Delhi government's control?
Well,
what will they go to the people of Delhi with?
You see, with the implementation of the national education policy, there have been, major changes which are positive changes which have been brought, in the education system. And across the country, if you look in terms of the education budget, it has remained, it may not have increased substantially, but it has been increasing. And the other aspect is that as far as at least those who are working in colleges, universities, as and where the central government is responsible in terms of disbursement of funds for payment of something as mandatory as giving salary to a person who is an employee of a college or a university. At least that part.
Geeta ji, this is endemic to our education system. What do you think is happening in Bihar? What do you think was happening in Lucknow a few days back? What do you think is happening in Madhya Pradesh and in Rajasthan? How many teachers and non-teaching staff everywhere are saying our salaries are not being paid, we have not been confirmed, we are still on contract, etc., etc. So, and this is from a government. What is the story that you're going to take to the people of Delhi, ma'am? It's a reflection. The BJP's education minister, after completing 4 years, said not a single word in a single textbook I have changed in his press conference. The next education minister could not sort out the testing mechanism and how tests are being conducted. So if you look at education, what's been sorted? So what is the story you're going to take back to the people of Delhi is a question. The Congress is nowhere in the fight, Tehseen Poonawalla. Look, one guarantee was announced yesterday and there was no guarantee about the top leadership there. They were absent.
Thank you. So there are two issues that I'll come to the Congress part. But I want to first answer the question Zaka put about the halo about the Honorable Chief Minister. I think that's been flushed down the golden commode of the honesty halo. And the question is not about corruption itself. It's not about the luxury in the Chief Minister's house. That, okay, is the Chief Minister's house, you may argue. The question is the CAG hints at corruption even in the renovation of that house. So the early estimate of 7.91 crores is finally ended at 33.66 crores. And I quote from the CAG report, lot of the consultants were doubtful. There was restricting tenders. So that is the issue. Now coming to where the Congress is, if I may please, Anand, I've come in after a long time.
I just want to say with due respect, quite rich coming from when parties, leaders of two parties are out on bail on charges of corruption. quite rich,
Yeah.
one pointing fingers at the other. Yeah, continue.
Yeah, quite rich coming from a political party, the Aam Aadmi Party, that said that they had evidences against Sheila Dikshit in their pocket with the Renault pen, and so far had nothing to do, and their leadership has gone in jail. Like you rightly said, the Sanjeevani Yojana has not yet been notified. May I make another point? I do agree with the larger point you're making, Anand. I think Pallavi made this point on Twitter and on X, sorry, and even now, the Congress leadership. And I think the Congress needs to seriously wake up and smell the coffee. These regional parties are destroying the coffee. You know what's happening in Maharashtra. I've been on Rahul's show continuously telling you cannot trust these the alliance partners, the Pawars in this context. Even Uddhav Thackeray will at some point want to be near there. These are all parties that at some point will give in to the BJP. So the Congress leadership needs to be on the ground. I agree with Pallavi's point. Yesterday, when the guarantee was made, it was released by the Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka. Frankly, he doesn't have the pull in Delhi. And the most important point out here is, unless you don't fight, you have to stop being worried what if BJP comes to power. If they come to power, let them come to power. The Congress cannot become an NGO with the fear that what if BJP comes to power. When NGOs run organizations, you see Bangladesh, what's happening. You saw Canada, an NGO type guy was running, what happens. So the Congress needs to sit here and fight. If the BJP gets a few extra seats, so be it. The Congress needs to be in the fight.
The current joke is that the economics of Vietnam is being explored rather than sorting out the economics of Himachal Pradesh and Karnataka. Meanwhile, we've got news coming through. The Shinde Sena sources are telling CNN News 18 that they are firming up strategy for the Delhi polls. Sena is likely to contest 10 to 15 seats on their own, including Burari, Deoli, Sultanpuri and Model Town. That's the update that a Shinde Sena source is saying. So there is trouble within the NDA also, Zaka.
I believe the LJP also said something similar, that they want to fight anywhere between 5 to 7 seats.
I think there's a seat adjustment talk that is going on. I don't think this is going to come at the cost of the BJP.
So it's going to be an alliance in Delhi?
That's what is the talk.
So which means the BJP may not contest all 70 seats.
Yes, that's right. That's one of the reasons why you're seeing a delay in perhaps the announcement of seats. But I didn't know that number was that large.
Likely to contest
that's
10 to 15
number.
seats solo is what they're saying.
Yeah, that's a large number.
No, and it's also a reflection of if all is well in Maharashtra. So will that have some repercussions in Maharashtra? Payal Mehta is with us. Payal, yes.
You know, the age-old fashion of the Shiv Sena when they were united force also was, Anand, that they would contest elections in multiple states, whether it's Uttar Pradesh or the other states as well. Today, in fact, Eknath Shinde is having a meeting with his Delhi unit, in the capital city of Mumbai. In fact, will be forming up the strategy. But what we are given to understand that Eknath Shinde's party is likely to give seats to many rebels within all sides, whether it's rebels from the BJP or rebels from the Aam Aadmi Party, etc. And they're going to field them and they're going to look at contesting these elections as well. Eknath Shinde, when I met him last week, had also hinted that his party leadership, in the state is very keen on contesting some seats as well. Obviously, whether they contest on the same symbol as the BJP or the symbol remains the same as Shiv Sena symbol, it remains to be seen. But multiple, alliance partners wanted seats in the Delhi elections, and that's probably the reason the BJP has not announced the rest of its seats. Chirag Paswan's party was able to contest 3 seats last time around. This time around, they won 5 seats. 3 to 5 seats is what the JDU also wants. Conversations are happening with them. Just as we speak, the BJP leadership is having a conversation with Chirag Paswan's party, is at least what I can confirm and tell you right now. But the BJP does understand that these are important alliance partners and they can only strengthen their base, because especially with the JDU and Chirag Paswan's party, they can be very appealing, to the Hindi-speaking voters.
But the Shinde Sena saying fighting solo, Payal, is it a reflection of what could happen in Maharashtra?
Absolutely not. That's something which is being overstretched and overthought about, is what Sena sources are telling me. They said that they've been contesting elections in multiple states and will do that as well. So obviously they can actually act like a vote cutter in multiple seats, where probably the Aam Aadmi Party is strong and the BJP does not have that kind of a strong candidate. That is also going to be a crucial role that Eknath Shinde's party will be playing. And Eknath Shinde does not want to rub, BJP the wrong way any whatsoever, whether it's Delhi or whether it's in the centre or even in the state of Maharashtra, is what I'm given to understand.
Okay, Tehseen. Thanks, Payal.
I agree with Payal. I think this will help the BJP. It won't harm the BJP because the anti-incumbency vote will get cut off. I think this will actually help. They will only file candidates for the BJP, so it will help the BJP. It's common math. I do believe so.
Rahul?
No, as I already mentioned, that I think that this is a smart tactic that is being deployed. But as Payal is also saying, parties like the Shiv Sena, etc., have traditionally also fielded candidates. So there are certain obligations that certain parties have. How much of it's going to dent who, I don't know fundamentally, but I don't think this is something that we really need to sweat out. I think the fundamental point for the BJP right now is to ensure that they can narrow both the vote share and the seat gap. I mean, look at where, if you just look at the numbers, that's about 14-15% there on the board. You know, that's a huge gap, vote share gap to overcome. And it translates into whopping 62 seats for the AAP. So,
you know, the fascinating thing about this is, and we mentioned this, you know, before the press conference, that the same set of voters, there's anywhere between a quarter to a third of the voters in Delhi who are voting for Aam Aadmi Party in Vidhan Sabha, and the same set of voters are voting for the BJP in a Lok Sabha. For example, 2019 Lok Sabha, the same set, 53-54%.
Yeah.
The BJP has 53-54%. AAP only had 18% in the Lok Sabha election. So it's the same voter who's voting for AAP in the Vidhan Sabha who's voting for BJP in the Lok Sabha. The question that the BJP needs to be asking itself is why? What is it that it's offering in the Lok Sabha, other than, of course, Mr. Modi's on the ticket, that it's not able to offer in the Vidhan Sabha? That's why the same set of voters
has
drifting
come out
away.
and said that neither do you have a Neta and neither do you have a Niti for Delhi. So I think the BJP's campaign really, and that's the question that you were prompting of Ms. Bhatt, what are you offering? It's been based on a very severe criticism of Mr. Kejriwal. But what is the offering? What is going to change? Is the air going to get better? You know, for a middle class voter, is the air going to get better? Is my water going to get cleaner? Is my soil going to be any more or any less toxic? So, you know, those are fundamental issues. Yes, the poor, you know, unfortunately, there is this entire emphasis on dole culture. So, excuse me, so you see a lemming-like sort of, you know, move towards the party that gives you the more attractive basket of freebies. But fundamentally, how do you enthuse the middle class?
Do you really feel that the Congress and the BJP played the role of an opposition in Delhi? Have they gone ahead and said that do they get Wi-Fi at bus stops? 2013 promised 2023. Do you still have Wi-Fi at the bus stops? Has anybody gone and asked, are there CCTV cameras that are working? They were supposed to be installed at every nook and corner. It was supposed to be done.
The other day he was getting arrested. I mean, come on, where is the opposition coming in from?
See, I think what Rahul was saying, I think BJP has, I would say, learned some lessons from 2020 and 2013 and 15 especially. See, as Zaka was mentioning, the reason here is that voters in Delhi are voting in big numbers when it comes to a national election for Mr. Modi. For a local election, they go over Mr. Kejriwal. A major reason for that also is BJP does not have a big face. BJP tried it in 2015 with Kiran Bedi, it failed.
But Kiran Bedi came in the last minute, Aman. Till then it was he went on to become the health minister. He was supposed to be, and then last minute they brought 2 weeks before the election they brought Harshvardhan ji.
So in
2 weeks before the election they got Kiran Bedi.
Anand, they again went with Mr. Modi, but I think in 2020 election what the BJP did with Mr. Modi, it was fighting more on national issues. We were telling the people that, you know, we are a national party. It was much after the 2019 win also, fresh after Balakot also. But I think this election, the BJP is deliberately till now, I think, trying to keep it a very, very local election. You have the Prime Minister in election rallies, public rallies, speaking about sewers, potholes, water shortage, you know, water scarcity, water logging on the roads. So he's trying to say, look, you voted for us in a national election, but we are also the party which cares for you locally. Give us a chance, because if you give us a chance, this confrontational approach which the Kejriwal government has with the centre will go away. We'll have the same double engine. Many other states have gained from this. So I think though BJP is still going with Prime Minister Narendra Modi as its face, it's a more local face this time, that, you know, we are going to care for your local issues. We're fighting the election on local
too
issues.
much, the infighting too much, that Sushma Swaraj, what she said at that time, more than 10 years ago, it is still reflective of, and that's what perhaps is the malaise as far as the Delhi BJP is concerned.
Anand, after the MCD lost, like BJP lost the MCD elections, after that they made Virendra Sachdeva the Delhi BJP president. I think some things have been ironed out since. I think this time we are seeing a more cohesive BJP campaign. I don't know how successful it will be, but I think this time the BJP feels that the Sheesh Mahal controversy is going to be the Achilles heel of the Aam Aadmi Party, because this is something which is in your face. We saw in the morning, I think our colleague Akash showing that, you know, those models of Sheesh Mahal which the BJP is running on the roads, you know, they are trying to tell the people, look, this man whom you have voted 3 times now, he acted as, you know, he was more pious than anything else, but he he has compromised his ideals. He's built this house for himself, and there's utter corruption. I think BJP feels that it's trying to touch the pulse of the people with the corruption allegations, with the point that it wants to care for it on local issues. Will it be successful? We'll have to wait and see. Of course, the BJP has the big challenge of countering, I think, the two big advantages that AAP has in this election. Number one, the freebies, the rupees 2100 promise for women is ringing a bell in Delhi. There have been record registrations, I believe, with the Aam Aadmi Party from women. Will BJP bring a counter to that with their own scheme? We'll have to wait for their manifesto. And number two, of course, the BJP face. That is missing, but BJP feels with Mr. Modi as the local face, in a way, it can
the
change
record
this election.
registrations have happened with the Aam Aadmi Party. It's not happened with the Delhi government. It's not cabinet approved. Not happened. It's not because the scheme has not yet been approved.
On that point, that the Election Commission also says that a number of people have come to enroll after the scheme was announced. So as voters. So it's interesting, and a lot of them are women. So it's interesting.
There's been an increase of around 2 lakh women voters, 71 lakh women voters. And men are 81. So it's like a 10 lakh difference. And 3 lakh extra new voters, which has been added on to Delhi. So it's these 3 lakhs which are going to be critical, 71 lakh.
This is very important, actually, these figures, because, because Pallavi, in women's schemes, Anand, we have seen...
Even the youngsters, there are going to be a large amount of first-time voters, students, which is why I think the Prime Minister chose the areas very carefully, giving those pakka houses to JJ clusters, telling them that, if you keep on voting for AAP, they'll keep on wanting you to be in the jhopri so that you're vulnerable. And I'm giving you a house. And then he goes to the university block and education, this and that. Thoda bahut Rahul Gandhi tried to do that. He's done that YouTube thing these days he does where he sat with some students and all of that. But, I mean, I cover Delhi politics and Congress. It's really astonishing and appalling that the Congress party is so disinterested in these elections. How can you, and then you blame everyone else. Then you are going to blame EVMs and so on so.
The BJP wants Congress to be very interested in the elections because if Congress fights strongly,
so that's the joke. BJP wants Congress to fight. Congress doesn't want it to fight. So.
And also the women voter scheme, Anand, we have seen in past elections. Whoever moves first has the first mover advantage. We saw that in Maharashtra. We saw that in other states.
In that case, in Maharashtra, the biggest difference was there was delivery. Maharashtra, the Ladki Bahin Yojana worked because there was delivery, and also with retrospective effect, the delivery happened, and because they were the state government, they had here in this case, even the 1,000 rupees scheme, the reports from ground say it's not reached everyone, the delivery has not happened. But Geeta Bhaji, do you believe this is going to be an election which people will participate in? The voter will come out and vote, the 1.5 crore plus voters, registered voters.
Well, you see, we all hope that people in Delhi are going to come out and vote in large numbers. And as far as, this 2100 scheme, which the Aam Aadmi Party has just announced, there are a lot of, one has to be very, this needs to be looked at into a lot of seriousness, because there are a lot of fraudsters who have joined this campaign. We do not know who is registering all this data. People are going from door to door and, especially in JJ colonies, and saying that we are here to register so that after the elections, you are going to get 2100. And, there are many women, girls who are giving their data, their Aadhaar card numbers, which could be used for many kind of, misgivings, and different type of fraud can be done with them. So this also something which should be taken into account by the Election Commission. And another aspect is that why is it that the freebies that are which have been discussed here, two important aspects I want to put forth, which may not be really very big election issues on the ground. One is that you are talking about free water, but what is the status of Delhi Jal Board today in terms of the debt which is there on it, and how long it is going to sustain? Whosoever comes into government, this kind of a freebie, it is, yes, there is a certain section in the society which requires this, but how long are you going to sustain it when the kind of money that was given to Delhi Jal Board, which was sanctioned money in 2015-16 of 27,000 crore, there is no accountability because it has not been spent the way, the terms and conditions with which it was given. And this is something which has been submitted by the Delhi Finance Secretary in the Supreme Court. So these are second issue that I want to put forth, Anand, is that Aam Aadmi government had signed a memorandum of understanding with Mr. Abhijit Banerjee's Poverty Lab. And there was a large amount of, we do not know how much of data of people has been, going out of this country based on this MOU. These are something which are very serious concerns, because the way Aam Aadmi Party government and the way Mr. Kejriwal has been posing in terms of Punjab and the kind of security threats which are there. These are issues which are going to
But
have
does that
long
actually matter to the
ramifications.
voter of Delhi, Geeta Bhattji? Because
Yes,
in the
that's
first
another
election,
aspect. How
the Aam Aadmi
how the
Party won
opposition
on the
will
promise of free Wi-Fi. Whether
people.
that free Wi-Fi happened or not is a different story. Second election, they came back and they won on free Bijli. For 2 months before the election, the Bijli bill dropped. 3 months after the election, Bijli bill went up, but it didn't matter. They swept the elections. Now he has come back with saying 6 revdis. I'll give you 6 revdi. Revdi pe hi charcha karte hain. Let's talk only on what I'll give you free. And Delhi voter is coming out and saying, I want free. They're saying, see, more voters are registering to go and vote because they're going to get something free. So, does it actually matter? Corruption, governance, where this money is going, as long as somebody is getting 2,000 rupees, 3,000 rupees, 4,000 rupees or free Wi-Fi or free Bijli. Does that actually matter to the voter of Delhi? So, who are we talking to? The electoral politics today is being defined by how much you are giving free, Ravi Srivastava.
Anand, first of all, this free or whatever you call it, who was the originator for this? Mr. Arvind Kejriwal of Aam Aadmi Party, who started with the free water, the free electricity, the free theatre and all that in 2004.
Sir, I have to interrupt you. We've got more news with respect to Delhi. There's breaking news. Just have to go across to that. This is about the 2020 Delhi riots. The centre and the Delhi police has told the Delhi High Court these riots were a classic case of clinical pathological mindset planned with diabolical intention and ruthless intensity. I'm quoting what's been said in court. It left 53 people dead, over 540 injured, over 208 police officers were injured. This is the severity, gamut and spread of these riots. These are the submissions that have been made in the larger conspiracy case involving Tahir Hussain, Umar Khalid, Sharjeel Imam, etc. Ananya now joins us with more. Yes, Ananya.
Definitely, Anand, these are submissions that come out. These are blasting submissions made by the Delhi police before the Delhi High Court by the larger conspiracy case, where, Tahir Hussain, who's been fielded from by the AIMM, Shifa ur Rahman, Ishrat Jahan, all are accused. And very clearly, the centre and the Delhi police go on to say that these riots were a classic example of a clinical pathological mindset planned with a diabolical intention and ruthless intensity, which left almost 53 people dead, over 540 injured, and 200 police officers were also injured, including one dead as well. So very clearly, the Delhi police somewhere or the other pointing out that this was a large conspiracy in order to disrupt the national capital. And, it caused a lot of damage, not only by the loss of lives, but almost 93 to 200 properties were actually destroyed in this. And that is something that goes on to show the severity of these 2020 Delhi riots, where, Tahir Hussain and others are completely involved.
Yes, and these submissions come at a time when AIMIM has fielded Tahir Hussain, Congress has fielded Ishrat Jahan and Shifa ur Rahman, again from the AIMIM. We're going to take a short break. Broadcast continues when we come back. Stay with us.
With Justin Trudeau's political future in jeopardy, he's now made the bold decision to resign, paving the way for new leadership in Canada. Now, after weeks of pressure, both outside and from outside and inside his party, as well as a diplomatic standoff with India, Justin Trudeau has now stepped down as the Prime Minister of Canada and the leader of Liberal Party. Former Prime Minister Trudeau ally Jagmeet Singh, the head of the NDP, has now threatened a no-confidence motion after pulling out of the minority government. This move also comes ahead of Trump taking office in the United States, with Elon Musk tweeting 2025 is looking good. Meanwhile, Trump wasted no time in responding to Trudeau's resignation, brought up his long-standing suggestion that Canada should join the United States as the 51st state. Now, this creates a major twister in Canadian politics ahead of the general elections later this year. But first, listen in to what Justin Trudeau had to say.
We are at a critical moment in the world. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election. I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process.
Well, joining us on the broadcast is our colleague Siddhant. A very good morning, Siddhant. Siddhant, facing mounting pressure from both allies and
मनीष सिसोदिया हमारे साथ बातचीत करने के लिए सर तारीखों का ऐलान हो चुका है, पहला रिएक्शन?
नहीं, सबसे पहले तो मैंने दिल्ली की जनता को ही बधाई दी है कि ये लोकतंत्र का महोत्सव है और दिल्ली की जनता के अधिकारों का सबसे बड़ा दिन है। इस दिन दिल्ली के लोग 5 फरवरी को दिल्ली के लोग चुनेंगे कि दिल्ली के बच्चों के लिए अच्छी शिक्षा कैसे बने, अच्छे स्कूल कैसे बने, अच्छी यूनिवर्सिटीज़ कैसे बने, दिल्ली के लोगों के लिए अच्छे स्वास्थ्य की सुविधाएं कैसे बने। ये सारी चीज़ें उस दिन लोग तय करेंगे। बिजली 24 घंटे कैसे आती रहे, और इसलिए लोग केजरीवाल जी को चुनेंगे। केजरीवाल जी के नेतृत्व में पूरी टीम तैयार है।
सर, चुनाव आयोग ने कई चीज़ों पर क्लैरिफिकेशन भी दिया, वोट डिलीशन पर खास तौर से उन्होंने कहा कि पूरी जो प्रक्रिया थी वो पारदर्शी थी।
नहीं, प्रक्रिया पारदर्शी केवल प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में कहने से नहीं हो जाती है ना, पारदर्शिता अपना भी लें। उसी प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में अच्छा होता कि चुनाव आयोग बता देते, चुनाव आयुक्त महोदय, कि हमारे चुनाव कार्यालयों में इन लोगों ने गलत और मिसलीडिंग तरीके से चुनाव आयोग को मिसलीड करते हुए वोट कटवाने के लिए एप्लीकेशन डाले थे और हमने इनके खिलाफ ये एक्शन लिया है।
सर, नई दिल्ली
में
तो
नाम छुपा रहे हैं, वो तो कह रहे हैं हम तो नहीं बताएंगे आपको कि किसने डाला है। क्यों भाई?
नई दिल्ली में दबाव डालने का आरोप भी संजय सिंह और राघव चड्ढा पर लगा, अधिकारियों पर, इस पर भी बात हुई।
भाई देखिए, अगर चुनाव आयोग कुछ गलत करता हुआ दिखेगा तो डेमोक्रेसी की मांग है कि दबाव डाला जाएगा, सही करने का दबाव डालेंगे।
एक आखिरी सवाल, महिलाओं के ऊपर जो टिप्पणियां हो रही हैं उस पर भी बात रखी गई है पीसी में।
अब ये महिलाओं के ऊपर टिप्पणी ना करें कैंडिडेट, ये तो विशफुल थिंकिंग है। ये ऐसी है कि सूरज सुबह ठीक से निकल आया करे, सूरज तो निकलेगा ही, लेकिन महिलाओं के खिलाफ टिप्पणी अगर कोई करेगा और वो अगर गाली गलौज पार्टी का कोई सीनियर लीडर होगा, उसके खिलाफ क्या एक्शन लेगा चुनाव आयोग, इससे तय होगा। प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में कहने से नहीं तय होगा। गाली गलौज पार्टी का कोई अगर आदमी, कोई नेता, कोई कैंडिडेट अगर किसी महिला पर उसके गालों को लेकर टिप्पणी करता है, उसके किसी के माता पिता को लेकर टिप्पणी करता है, किसी को कोई अलग अलग तरीके के एडजेक्टिव देता है, उस पर चुनाव आयोग कुछ करके दिखाएगा तो मानेंगे। प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में ज्ञान बांटने से नहीं होता है।
संजय राउत ने सलाह दी है, नसीहत दी है दोनों पार्टियों को, आम आदमी पार्टी और कांग्रेस को, कि मिलकर लड़ें, बीजेपी के से मुकाबला है, और खासतौर से कांग्रेस को कहा है कि एंटी नेशनल अगर आप अरविंद केजरीवाल को कह रहे हैं तो फिर चुनाव में जनता पूछेगी आगे।
देखिए, कांग्रेस भारतीय जनता पार्टी को चुनाव जिताने के लिए लड़ रही है, तो लेकिन फिर भी जीतेंगे तो केजरीवाल जी।
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। एक्सक्लूसिव बातचीत कर रहे थे मनीष सिसोदिया न्यूज़ 18 इंडिया से, जिन्होंने चुनाव में तारीखों पर अपनी बात रखी है और बीजेपी पर निशाना साधा है। कैमरा पर्सन विपिन पुजारी के साथ जावेद मंसूरी, न्यूज़ 18 इंडिया, दिल्ली।
5th is the voting, February 5th is the voting day, and counting is on 8th. How well is the Congress party prepared? Because what the experts have been saying is that the Aam Aadmi Party has taken a lead by announcing their candidates in December itself.
I don't think announcing candidates earlier or later makes that much of a difference. There are certain parties, Aam Aadmi Party has been doing that, announcing their candidates in places like Goa and Haryana much in advance, and it means nothing. Thing is, do you have your voters ready? Do you have your campaign ready? Do you have an ethos that attracts voters to you? Are voters looking at replacing you or electing you? I think that is what is important. And that is where Aam Aadmi Party is having its biggest defeat. It's not understanding that people are fairly fed up with their lack of governance and the kind of lies that they've constantly been speaking. And of course, to add on to that, all the allegations of corruption.
Do you think there is a confusion between the voters because the Congress and Aam Aadmi Party comes in alliance during the Lok Sabha election, in assembly election, they are targeting each other, standing against each other. Do you think there is a confusion in the voters' mind?
No. I think confusers know. Confusers, voters also know the difference between state and national elections. I've always quoted, long time back, there was a case in which there was simultaneous elections in a state for Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha, and people voted separately for different governments in either way. So people are pretty aware of what they vote for. They also understand why parties come together to form certain formations or alliances at a particular level and don't do that at another. I don't think there's that confusion amongst Delhi voters.
Justin Trudeau's political future in jeopardy, he has now made the bold decision to resign, paving the way for new leadership in Canada. Now, after weeks of pressure, both outside and from outside and inside his party, as well as a diplomatic standoff with India, Justin Trudeau has now stepped down as the Prime Minister of Canada and the leader of Liberal Party. Former Prime Minister Trudeau ally Jagmeet Singh, the head of the NDP, has now threatened a no-confidence motion after pulling out of the minority government. This move also comes ahead of Trump taking office in the United States, with Elon Musk tweeting 2025 is looking good. Meanwhile, Trump wasted no time in responding to Trudeau's resignation, brought up his long-standing suggestion that Canada should join the United States as the 51st state. Now, this creates a major twister in Canadian politics ahead of the general elections later this year. But first, listen in to what Justin Trudeau had to say.
We are at a critical moment in the world. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election. I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process.
Well, joining us on the broadcast is our colleague Siddhant. A very good morning, Siddhant. Siddhant, facing mounting pressure from both allies and
Hello, no, very good evening. Thanks for tuning into CNN News 18. I'm Kritsween Walia. We first up start with a breaking news update coming in with regards to the 2020 Delhi riots case. Now, the centre, in its submission to the High Court, has stated that the riots were a classic case of clinical pathological mindset planned with diabolical intention and ruthless intensity, and that it left 53 people dead, over 540 injured. Also, over 208 police officers was injured during the course of the riots. This is the severity, gamut and spread of these riots. So part of the submissions made by the centre in the larger conspiracy case involving several, including Tahir Hussain, Umar Khalid, Sharjeel Imam, so on and so forth. So that's the latest bit of breaking news update coming in. Submissions made by the Delhi police to the High Court. I want to go across to Ananya Bhatnagar, who can put this in perspective for our viewers just tuning in. Yes, Ananya, tell us a little bit about the manner in which these submissions were made on part of the centre a little while earlier.
Well, definitely, this is in fact a submission that's been made by, in fact, the Delhi police before, in fact, the Delhi High Court. Remember that the Delhi High Court is hearing the Delhi riots larger conspiracy case, FIR 59 of 2020, which deals with the larger conspiracy behind, these riots that had taken place in the national capital. Over 53 people were injured. And over, 208 policemen were also injured into this, in fact, incident. 53 were left dead. And the Delhi police going on to say that, these were a classic example of a clinical pathological mindset that led to ruthless intensity of these riots. And that is a submission, Kritsween. Why is it so important at this particular point of time is that in the run-up to the Delhi elections, we've seen how, Tahir Hussain has been fielded from, the AIM, MIM, while Shifa Rahman, Ishrat Jahan have been fielded from, in fact, the Congress and the AIM as well. So very clearly at this particular point of time, this is a submission that could find weight with the court as well, because it is the classic case of the Delhi police since the very beginning, that these were not riots that happened, on its own. These were a very, very planned, properly planned riot that had taken place. There were involvement of various individuals, including Umar Khalid, Sharjeel Imam, Khalid Saifi, Tahir Hussain, Shifa Rahman, Ishrat Jahan, and, various accused are there into this particular case. And very clearly at this particular point of time, such kind of submissions
demonstrations coming in,
Yes.
somewhere or the other shows the severity of these riots, which took away almost 53 lives, 508 people were left injured, of which 208 were only policemen, while, over 93, properties were damaged into this particular riots. And that is something that makes these riots more, severe. So very clearly at this point of time, this could be a game changer when it comes to the Delhi election. These submissions, these statements by the Delhi police, somewhere or the other, counting to the people of Delhi when they go to vote on, in fact, in February.
Oh yes, in fact, that very much has been the line of attack as far as the Delhi police is concerned since the very beginning of the investigations in the case. But do remember, Ananya, a lot of questions that the Delhi police has had to also face over the probe, which goes back to 2020. Many thanks for joining us with all those details. And on to our next big focus story. The Election Commission of India has announced the schedule for the upcoming Delhi Assembly polls. Delhi will vote in a single phase, this on the 5th of February, and the counting of votes will take place on the 8th of February. So 8th of February is the big day when we will, in fact, be putting down details of the manner in which the next assembly will be chosen by the people of the national capital. The last date of filing nominations is 17th of January, and amid the allegations of voter manipulation by the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP, the Chief Election Commissioner, Rajiv Kumar, held a 50-minute long address. He assured voters that all allegations have been reviewed and found baseless. He also emphasized the robust safeguards in place to maintain the credibility of the electoral process. Regular meetings with political parties and continuous oversight aim to uphold public confidence in India's democratic system. He, in fact, did give a factual analysis of not just the EVM allegations that were leveled by many in the opposition, but also the non-stop back and forth we've seen between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party in the run-up to polls in the national capital. Delhi Assembly elections will witness a three-cornered fight, remember, between the BJP, the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party. The AAP will be aiming to win the elections for a third consecutive term. The Congress also very keen to regain the national capital. So who will conquer Delhi ka dil is the big question that we continue to ask, and we'll keep decoding all of that for you. But for now, it's very important to reiterate what was said, or rather the air that was cleared once and for all by the CEC with regards to allegations that have been leveled by the Congress in the past after several assembly elections in, for instance, states like Haryana and Maharashtra, and of course, the manner in which, like I said, voter manipulation charges are being traded between the BJP and the AAP in the national capital. Here's that clarification.
जो भी क्लेम्स एंड ऑब्जेक्शंस आते हैं, वो हाथ की हाथ हर पॉलिटिकल पार्टी के साथ में शेयर किए जाते हैं. कोई डिलीशन हो ही नहीं सकता जब तक उसके पीछे फॉर्म 7 ना हो. यहां तक कि अगर किसी की डेथ हो गई है, उसका भी डेथ सर्टिफिकेट हम अपने रिकॉर्ड में लगा के बीएलओ के माध्यम से रखते हैं. अगर किसी का डिलीशन इसके अतिरिक्त होना है शिफ्टिंग में, उसको नोटिस देते हैं, वेबसाइट पे डालते हैं, क्लेम्स एंड ऑब्जेक्शंस का टाइम देते हैं. हमने मेहनत करके इस पूरी प्रक्रिया का एक चार्ट बनाया. देयर इज नो evidence of unreliability or any drawback in the EVM. I am circulating it. Please see the details. Details are there in the court orders. Court orders are here compiled. They are on our website. There is no question of introducing virus or bug in the EVM. There is no question of invalid votes in the EVM. No rigging is possible. High Court and Supreme Court is saying continuously in different judgments which are here. No alteration in results is possible by activating a Trojan horse or a virus. Evidence inspires confidence of the court that they are tamper-proof. What else can be said? EVMs are foolproof devices for counting.
I want to go across to my colleagues, Arunima and Payal Mehta, joining us on the broadcast with more details. Arunima, to you first, the clarification that's come in from the Election Commission, talking about all the aspects, all concerns raised by the opposition, more importantly, right after the Haryana and Maharashtra elections. So tell us a little bit about the factual evidence cited by the CEC a little while earlier.
So there was a 4-point rebuttal by CC Rajiv Kumar. Let me take them one by one. In the context of Delhi, the most important and the recent one is the allegation that the electoral roll is getting tampered with, that new names are being added and genuine voters' names are getting deleted. To which the CC pointed out to the procedure. He said that if someone's name has to be deleted, there has to be proper documentary support to that. He pointed out that if somebody dies, the death certificate, for example, has to be brought on record. So just unilaterally, nobody is empowered to remove any name from the electoral roll. Similarly, for addition also, you have to give proper documentation, proper address proof, proof of where you were voting earlier. All of that has to be given. The second allegation, EVMs getting tampered with, he rejected that summarily. We just played out his soundbite also. Third one, that voter turnout is suddenly increasing after the end of voting, which is about 6 o'clock. So he said that gap is there procedurally because a lot of voters are standing in the queue. The entire process of tabulation takes time. So this is unnecessary doubt that is being created in the minds of voters. And most importantly, he warned the opposition that essentially by raising these doubts, by spreading these rumors, what you're doing is pushing away the young first-time voter away from the election process, away from the democratic process, because these youngsters then begin to question, what is the point of me voting if the entire process is vitiated? He said that as main stakeholders to the democratic process, political parties must be aware of the consequences of what they're doing and desist from spreading what he called baseless rumors.
Oh yes, absolutely. Pretty much silencing the EVM doubters. Thank you for that, Arunima. Taking a quick word from Payal as well. Payal, you know, the BJP is going to now side this heavily, and we're going to see that transpire in the Delhi electoral battle as well. But so far, what do you make of the political responses that have come in particular to the manner in which the CEC put certain speculations to rest?
Well, of course, the BJP has been putting it out in as many words, saying that every time that an opposition party wins an election, there is no doubt on the election commission, there is no doubt on the voting machine, nothing is doubtful. But only when they lose, then they act like sore losers, because then they start blaming every institution whatsoever that comes to their mind as well. So the opposition needs to, in fact, form up with strategies. So if they win an election, for example, in Himachal, then the EVMs are good. But if they lose an election in Maharashtra, then the EVMs are faulty. That's been a stated position as far as the BJP is concerned. And the BJP will in fact go to town telling people that, you know, look at this misinformation that the opposition parties are trying to spread. They are already feeling nervous. They probably do not have the confidence of the people. And the party which has confidence of the people should be the ones that the people should be voting. So obviously BJP will be citing these issues as well. Speaking of the duplicity, speaking of the fact that these parties have often spoken in different languages on different issues. They do not mean interest of the people at large. They do not mean a national interest on the whole also. So that's something, of course, which the BJP leadership is citing time and again, and they will continue to do so. Corruption being one of those planks on which they will be, in fact, attacking the opposition, you know, as one of the major issues to focus on, with Sheesh Mahal taking center stage.
Oh yes, no unreliability in EVMs, no rigging possible, all of that said by Mr. Kumar in as many words, Payal. But what is interesting is that we've seen the Election Commission in the past as well put you know, all these speculations to rest. Yet the concerns that continue to come in from the opposition have made it to the headlines time and again. What do you make overall of the opposition response to the Chief Election Commissioner's press conference so far?
They obviously are speaking the same language that they've been speaking earlier as well, but, you know, multiple occasions, these political parties, you know, have been invited by the Election Commission of India to come and participate in these hackathons that really happen and prove to them how the EVMs can be hacked or probably how they can be tampered with. On multiple occasions, none of these parties have really gone forth and participated in this challenge that the Election Commission has thrown at them as well. That's essentially the argument of the BJP, that how can you disrespect an autonomous institution? How can you disrespect the process of the Election Commission? And remember, holding elections is a humongous process. The Election Commission officers prepare for months together to not only assess the situation on ground, but to look at various issues, including challenges of security, etc. So all that the opposition parties are doing is disrespecting every institution that is, of course, autonomous in its own way. That's the argument of the BJP. But of course, we'll have to just wait and see now what the opposition parties have to now say when the Election Commission probably, you know, 20 minutes of his PC was spent on clarifying these facts that Arunima was reporting.
Oh yes, absolutely. While all of that was said around the allegations of EVM tampering, there was a lot more that was said, including the allegation that came in from the electoral officer in the national capital about some of the Aam Aadmi Party leaders trying to exert pressure on the poll body. So we'll talk about that in just a bit. Pal, stay on with us. Let's play out some reactions in the meanwhile.
सर, तारीखों का ऐलान हो चुका है, क्या जोश, क्या तैयारी?
बहुत अच्छी तैयारी है। कार्यकर्ताओं ने बूथ स्तर की तैयारी कर रखी है। एक एक पेज हमने वोटर लिस्ट का उसका इंचार्ज बनाया है। घर घर जा रहे हैं। इलेक्शन से पहले 3 बार तक हम एक एक के घर में पहुंच जाए, एक एक मतदाताओं से अपनी अपील करें, हमारा मैनिफेस्टो के बारे में बताएं, हमारे एजेंडा के बारे में बताएं, उनके इश्यूज़ को सुनें। तो यहाँ तक हमारी तैयारी है, बहुत अच्छी तैयारी है और इस बार भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनने जा रही है।
सर, प्रवेश वर्मा के सामने अरविंद केजरीवाल हैं, संदीप दीक्षित हैं, तो कितना बड़ा चैलेंज देख रहे हैं इसे?
मुझे तो मेरे सामने केवल यहाँ की समस्याएं दिखाई दे रही हैं, जो कि 11 साल में एक भी खत्म नहीं हुई।
कुछ वर्षों से भारतीय जनता पार्टी की जो पूरी की पूरी कार्य प्रणाली दिल्ली में हम लोगों ने देखी है, उससे एक बात बड़ी साफ है, भारतीय जनता पार्टी को इस बात की कोई चिंता नहीं है कि दिल्ली वालों के बारे में कोई काम किया जाए। उन्हें दिल्ली वालों के पानी की कोई चिंता नहीं है, दिल्ली वालों को 24 घंटे बिजली मिले इसकी कोई चिंता नहीं है, अस्पतालों की कोई चिंता नहीं, दिल्ली के 18 लाख बच्चों की पढ़ाई कैसे चले इसकी कोई चिंता नहीं है, अस्पतालों की कोई चिंता नहीं है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी को कच्ची कॉलोनी में रहने वाले लोगों की कोई चिंता नहीं है। वहां सीवर डलें, वहां पानी की लाइन डले, वहां सड़कें बने, इस बात की भी कोई चिंता भारतीय जनता पार्टी को नहीं है। पूरे दिन 24 घंटे, हफ्ते के 7 दिन और साल के 365 दिन भारतीय जनता पार्टी का सिर्फ एक ही एजेंडा रहता है, कैसे आम आदमी पार्टी के नेताओं के खिलाफ कुछ किया जाए, कोई मुकदमा कराया जाए, किसी के यहां पुलिस भेजी जाए।
मुख्यमंत्री आवास से मेरा सामान, मेरे परिवार का सामान घर से निकाल के सड़क पे फेंक दिया था। भारतीय जनता पार्टी को लगता है कि वो घर छीनने से, हमारे साथ गाली गलौज करने से, मेरे परिवार के बारे में निचले स्तर की बातें करने से, इनको लगता है कि ये हमारे काम रोक देंगे, जो हम दिल्ली वालों के लिए काम कर रहे हैं उस काम को रोक देंगे। लेकिन मैं दिल्ली वालों को ये बताना चाहती हूं कि घर छीनने से काम रुकेगा नहीं। ये हमारे घर छीन सकते हैं, ये हमें गालियां दे सकते हैं, लेकिन जो दिल्ली वालों के लिए काम करने का जज्बा हमारे दिल में है, उस जज्बे को नहीं छीन सकते हैं। मैं दिल्ली वालों को ये कहना चाहूंगी कि अगर जरूरत पड़े तो मैं आपके घर पे आके रहूंगी, अगर जरूरत पड़े मैं आपके घर में आके रहूंगी और आपके घर से दिल्ली वालों के लिए काम करूंगी, दुगनी स्पीड से काम करूंगी, दुगने जज्बे से काम करूंगी। भारतीय जनता पार्टी को यह बताने के लिए काम करूंगी कि आप हम पर कोई भी अत्याचार कर लीजिए, हमें कितना भी परेशान कर लीजिए, हम दिल्ली वालों के काम रुकने नहीं देंगे। मैं याद करा दूं भारतीय जनता पार्टी वालों को, 3 महीने पहले, एक बार पहले भी आपने मुझसे मुख्यमंत्री आवास छीना था, मेरा सामान सड़क पर लाके फेंक दिया था। उसके बाद 3 महीने में मैंने दिल्ली की सड़कें ठीक करवाई, मैंने दिल्ली में फ्लाईओवर बनवाए, मैंने दिल्ली में अनेकों नए स्कूल बनवाए, मोहल्ला क्लिनिक में जो टेस्ट रुके हुए थे वो टेस्ट शुरू करवाए, मोहल्ला क्लिनिक में जो दवाइयां बंद कराई हुई थी वो दवाइयां शुरू करवाई, और जो अरविंद केजरीवाल जी ने वादा किया था कि दिल्ली की महिलाओं को 1000 रुपए की सम्मान राशि देंगे, उस महिला सम्मान योजना को कैबिनेट में पास कराया। और मैं आज आपको ये बता दूं कि आज जब इन भाजपा वालों ने मुझे मुख्यमंत्री आवास से बाहर निकाल कर फेंका है, अब वो याद रखें, इस बारी जब मुख्यमंत्री आवास से निकाला है, आज मैं ये प्रण ले रही हूं कि दिल्ली की हर महिला को 2100 रुपए दिलवा कर रहूंगी। संजीवनी योजना के तहत दिल्ली के हर बुजुर्ग को सरकारी अस्पताल में, प्राइवेट अस्पताल में फ्री इलाज करवा कर रहूंगी। दिल्ली के हर पुजारी को, हर ग्रंथी को हर महीने 18,000 रुपए की सम्मान राशि दिलवा कर रहूंगी। भारतीय जनता पार्टी वाले ये समझ लें कि आम आदमी पार्टी का एक एक कार्यकर्ता, एक एक नेता, एक एक मंत्री, मुख्यमंत्री अपने सिर पर कफन बांध कर निकला है, दिल्ली वालों के लिए काम करने के लिए निकला है। आप हमें जितना परेशान करेंगे, हम उतने ज्यादा जज्बे से दिल्ली वालों के लिए काम करेंगे। अब मैं चाहूंगी कि संजय जी अपनी बात रखें।
अभी काफी विस्तार से
All right, so there you heard a detailed interaction on part of the Aam Aadmi Party that continues still, but I want to quickly go across to Payal Mehta, who continues to stay on with us. Payal, a host of issues raised by the Aam Aadmi Party, but we've not seen the AAP specifically respond to the mentions made by the Chief Election Commissioner. So we'll talk about that in just a bit, but important to highlight the other political reactions that have come in as well. Listen in.
तारीखों का ऐलान हो चुका है, पहला रिएक्शन?
नहीं, सबसे पहले तो मैंने दिल्ली की जनता को ही बधाई दी है कि ये लोकतंत्र का महोत्सव है और दिल्ली की जनता के अधिकारों का सबसे बड़ा दिन है। इस दिन दिल्ली के लोग 5 फरवरी को दिल्ली के लोग चुनेंगे कि दिल्ली के बच्चों के लिए अच्छी शिक्षा कैसे बने, अच्छे स्कूल कैसे बने, अच्छी यूनिवर्सिटीज़ कैसे बने, दिल्ली के लोगों के लिए अच्छे स्वास्थ्य की सुविधाएं कैसे बने। ये सारी चीज़ें उस दिन लोग तय करेंगे। बिजली 24 घंटे कैसे आती रहे, और इसलिए लोग केजरीवाल जी को चुनेंगे। केजरीवाल जी के नेतृत्व में पूरी टीम तैयार है।
सर, चुनाव आयोग ने कई चीज़ों पर क्लैरिफिकेशन भी दिया, वोट डिलीशन पर खास तौर से उन्होंने कहा कि पूरी जो प्रक्रिया थी वो पारदर्शी थी।
नहीं, प्रक्रिया पारदर्शी केवल प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में कहने से नहीं हो जाती है ना, पारदर्शिता अपना भी लें। उसी प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में अच्छा होता कि चुनाव आयोग बता देते, चुनाव आयुक्त महोदय, कि हमारे चुनाव कार्यालयों में इन लोगों ने गलत और मिसलीडिंग तरीके से चुनाव आयोग को मिसलीड करते हुए वोट कटवाने के लिए एप्लीकेशन डाले थे और हमने इनके खिलाफ ये एक्शन लिया है।
सर, नई दिल्ली
में
तो
नाम छुपा रहे हैं, वो तो कह रहे हैं हम तो नहीं बताएंगे आपको कि किसने डाला है। क्यों भाई?
नई दिल्ली में दबाव डालने का आरोप भी संजय सिंह और राघव चड्ढा पर लगा, अधिकारियों पर, इस पर भी बात हुई।
भाई देखिए, अगर चुनाव आयोग कुछ गलत करता हुआ दिखेगा तो डेमोक्रेसी की मांग है कि दबाव डाला जाएगा, सही करने का दबाव डालेंगे।
5th is the voting, February 5th is the voting day, and counting is on 8th. How well is the Congress party prepared? Because what the experts have been saying is that the Aam Aadmi Party has taken a lead by announcing their candidates in December itself.
I don't think announcing candidates earlier or later makes that much of a difference. There are certain parties, Aam Aadmi Party has been doing that, announcing their candidates in places like Goa and Haryana much in advance, and it means nothing. Thing is, do you have your voters ready? Do you have your campaign ready? Do you have an ethos that attracts voters to you? Are voters looking at replacing you or electing you? I think that is what is important. And that is where Aam Aadmi Party is having its biggest defeat. It's not understanding that people are fairly fed up with their lack of governance and the kind of lies that they've constantly been speaking. And of course, to add on to that, all the allegations of corruption.
Do you think there is a confusion between the voters because the Congress and Aam Aadmi Party comes in alliance during the Lok Sabha election, in assembly election, they are targeting each other, standing against each other. Do you think there is a confusion in the voters' mind?
No. I think confusers know. Confusers, voters also know the difference between state and national elections. I've always quoted, long time back, there was a case in which there was simultaneous elections in a state for Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha, and people voted separately for different governments in either way. So people are pretty aware of what they vote for. They also understand why parties come together to form certain formations or alliances at a particular level and don't do that at another. I don't think there's that confusion amongst Delhi voters.
दिल्ली के अधिक से अधिक लोग इस मतदान में भाग लेंगे, उसकी एक ही वजह है कि इस बार चुनाव 5 फरवरी बुधवार को हो रहा है और इस कारण से जो एक धारणा बनती है कि दिल्ली के लोग वीकेंड पर बाहर चले जाते हैं, इस बार दिल्ली में सबसे अधिक मतदान होगा ऐसा मेरा विश्वास है। दिल्ली के व्यापारी, दिल्ली के लोग, दिल्ली के कामगार, दिल्ली के कारोबारी पूर्ण वेग से दिल्ली चुनाव में जुटेंगे और अपना समर्थन देंगे और प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी के नेतृत्व में दिल्ली में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की डबल इंजन की सरकार प्रचंड बहुमत से बनेगी।
All right, Arunima continues to stay on with us. Now, a host of political responses coming in, and the battle for the national capital has truly begun, Arunima, with the announcement that's come in from the Chief Election Commissioner. And in a month from now, we will know who is going to be declared victorious in the national capital. But so far, what's interesting is, of the brief comments that came in from the Aam Aadmi Party leaders, they've not responded to the particular comments made by, specific comments made by the Chief Election Commissioner about the voter manipulation, the allegations that also were levelled by the Aam Aadmi Party, remember?
Yes, I think that was more politics, more optics. Aam Aadmi Party was trying to build this perception that Bharatiya Janata Party is trying to meddle with the election process, and they want to take that perception to the people that you must vote for us because it is in the interest of democracy. And that narrative worked for the India front in Lok Sabha elections, where they managed to convince voters that if BJP gets 400 par, they're going to change the constitution. I think that's similar tactics was deployed by Aam Aadmi Party this time also, trying to tell the voters, trying to convince them that you must vote for us because the other side is trying to vitiate the entire electoral process. CEC has lambasted the opposition for doing it. Specifically, the last line that CEC had said when he was countering the charges was that if you're going to do this, young voters, people who are sitting on the fence, they will have no stake in going out and vote, and ultimately that is detrimental to the health of democracy. Both the opposition and the ruling side must take care of that.
Oh yes, absolutely. And to add to that, you know how the voter turnout spikes after 5 p.m. All of that was also heard of previously by several in the opposition. That too was put to rest by the Chief Election Commissioner. And interestingly, you know, we've seen the BJP also respond to this in the past, Arunima, by citing examples of states where following the same process, and that was reiterated by Mr. Kumar today, opposition has also won in several states, isn't it?
And I think that is why you see a discord within the opposition bloc also. After the recently concluded Maharashtra election, some in Congress party were still questioning the EVMs, but their own alliance partner, Supriya Sule, for example, or the other leaders from NCP, Trinamool Congress, also Umar Abdullah, National Conference, they started taking a position that it's wrong to question the EVM. And I think today also data was put out by the CEC. He put out data from 2020 till 2024 when various elections have happened, and non-Bharatiya Janata Party parties have also won. Kashmir, Umar Abdullah's National Conference, Jharkhand, JMM, Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, RJD has won in 2020. They have emerged as the single largest party in Bihar in 2020. So there are non-BJP parties also who have come out as winners using the same system. So that was the argument being put forward by CEC, that when it suits you, you accept the election result. When it doesn't suit you, you question the electoral process and you do not want to accept that the voters have rejected you. Don't do it for Delhi because Delhi voters are quite sharp.
Oh yes, absolutely. Speaking of the voters in the national capital, for the longest time now, we've seen these charges being traded both by the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party, Arunima. It's not just the Aam Aadmi Party that's spoken of voter manipulation, but what do you make of Mr. Kumar's pointed rebuttal inciting Form 7 and the technicalities around it? How there are so many layers of process that essentially cannot be breached?
Yes, and I also want to point out that, you know, that question that was raised about why the CCTV footage from the polling booth is not getting shared. He pointed out to details in that in the rules in the Representation of People's Act on that count also, and he said it's very clear that anything which violates the privacy of the voters cannot be made public. And in the CCTV footage, you can see who's accompanying the voter, how are they coming in to vote, and that is violative of their privacy as well. So that was the argument that was given by CEC when he argued as to why CCTV footage cannot be shared. This was again something that the opposition had raised a lot of hue and cry about. So he had pointedly rebutted all the charges made by the opposition. But one thing which he accepted was this perception that Delhi votes on the 5th, which is just 4 days after the union budget is going to be presented. So there was this perception that this does not offer a level playing field. The ruling side, BJP is at the center. BJP is also a key player here in Delhi elections. So they will have an unfair advantage if in the budget there are schemes announced for the Delhi voter, to which the CEC said that he's going to write to the Cabinet Secretariat and say that in the budget there can be no Delhi specific announcement. But of course, if there are pan-India announcements which are going to favor the Delhi voters, that can't be stopped.
Oh yes, absolutely. Whether or not all of these clarifications are going to put a full stop to the back and forth remains to be seen still. We'll keep asking, the political experts all of those questions that need to be asked. Arunima, thank you for that. Speaking of Delhi though, tensions are also flaring between the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP, with the Sheesh Mahal controversy simmering by the day after a recent CAG report raised concerns about the expenditures in the former Chief Minister's residence. The BJP wasted no time in pouncing on these findings. Not only did the BJP accuse AAP of blatant misuse of public funds, but also launched a unique campaign against the Aam Aadmi Party. Vehicles carrying 3D models of the so-called Sheesh Mahal will be touring across constituencies, driving home their criticism. The AAP has also dismissed these allegations and have called it politically motivated, and that's pretty much set the stage for an all-out war of words between the two sides. Here's a ground report first up.
Sheesh Mahal is one thing that is a matter of discussion here in the national capital ahead of assembly elections. And I'm showing you the visuals where Bharatiya Janata Party has created these models. And in fact, they have prepared a number of vehicles. These vehicles will be going to constituencies here in the national capital. And these models will be shown to people here in the capital city. Bharatiya Janata Party's argument is that Aam Aadmi Party was involved in a sort of corruption where in fact former CM of Delhi Arvind Kejriwal had created this Sheesh Mahal for himself. It has been alleged that the kind of things, in fact, there you can see commode 4 lakh, TV 10 lakh, दीवार 4 करोड़, marble 8 करोड़, interior 11.3 करोड़, पर्दे 1 करोड़. So these are the arguments where they are saying that Aam Aadmi Party Supremo Arvind Kejriwal says that he is an Aam Aadmi, and on the other hand he was using all these things. In fact, he was living a lavish life in this Sheesh Mahal that was his former residence. In fact, at the time when he was the Chief Minister of Delhi, he used to live at 6 Flagstaff Road, and Bharatiya Janata Party is saying that it is a Sheesh Mahal that he was living in there. I'm showing you the visuals of these models where in fact these models will be sent to different constituencies here in the capital city, and ahead of elections we are seeing that Sheesh Mahal is a very part of discussion here among the political parties. In fact, Bharatiya Janata Party is saying that they are going to take this issue to the ground level and want to talk to people about this sort of alleged scam that Aam Aadmi Party and Arvind Kejriwal was involved in.
सर, बीजेपी शीश महल को एक मुद्दा बनाना चाह रही है. उन्होंने नए पोस्टर्स लगाए हैं, तो इस इशू को कैसे टैकल करेगी आम आदमी पार्टी?
बीजेपी सिर्फ गाली गलौज कर सकती है, इसके अलावा कुछ नहीं कर सकती, इसलिए उनका आज से नया नाम है गाली गलौज पार्टी.
आपको लगता है ये इशू, करप्शन का जो इशू है, ये लोगों में चिपकेगा और बीजेपी को कहीं फायदा हो सकता है?
पब्लिक में जाओ, लोग कहेंगे केजरीवाल काम करता है, बीजेपी गाली गलौज करती है.
All right, as the Battle of Delhi is heating, we head into a very quick break for now. We'll be right back with lots more that's happening on the other side of a very short break.
with Justin Trudeau's political future in jeopardy, he's now made the bold decision to resign, paving the way for new leadership in Canada. Now, after weeks of pressure, both outside and from outside and inside his party, as well as a diplomatic standoff with India, Justin Trudeau has now stepped down as the Prime Minister of Canada and the leader of Liberal Party. Former Prime Minister Trudeau ally Jagmeet Singh, the head of the NDP, has now threatened a no-confidence motion after pulling out of the minority government. This move also comes ahead of Trump taking office in the United States, with Elon Musk tweeting 2025 is looking good. Meanwhile, Trump wasted no time in responding to Trudeau's resignation, brought up his long-standing suggestion that Canada should join the United States as the 51st state. Now, this creates a major twister in Canadian politics ahead of the general elections later this year. But first, listen in to what Justin Trudeau had to say.
We are at a critical moment in the world. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election. I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process.
Well, joining us on the broadcast is our colleague Siddhant. Very good morning, Siddhant. Siddhant, facing mounting pressure from both allies and opponents, Justin Trudeau has finally stepped down. Now, what will be the implications to begin with after Trudeau's departure, especially for the upcoming general elections in Canada?
Well, after his departure, in fact, he has announced that he will resign in March. So, technically, he's a lame duck interim Prime Minister of Canada, and he's no more the leader of his party also. Until the party gives the new leader and the Prime Minister, he would be holding those two portfolios. And Liberal Party will open the leadership race, and perhaps the...
Welcome back. We return with a breaking news update coming in. This is with regards to the story we're tracking from Assam. 9 people are trapped, 3 suspected dead as rescue operations are still underway. Searches still being carried out for trapped workers in Assam coal mines, and we're also learning that the operation faced certain challenges because of rising water as well, and Navy divers in fact were called in from Visakhapatnam. So that's the latest. Rescue operations underway for trapped workers in Assam coal mine. 9 people still feared trapped and 3 suspected dead is the latest coming in. I want to go across to Niloy joining us with more details. Niloy, what more do we know? Also, do we have a confirmation on these figures? 9 people still feared trapped and 3 dead?
Christian, yes, the relatives have confirmed that these 9 people are missing, but the number can go because there were a lot of people are working out there. Some were overground, some could actually come out of the tunnel yesterday itself with the help of ropes, and the rest were trapped inside. Now, it's very difficult to say because water has risen up till 120 feet. It's a long 200 feet vertical tunnel deep inside, and from where the rat hole minings were done. The rat hole mining is completely illegal in Northeast, but is prevalent in the Meghalaya, certain districts of Meghalaya, and these part of Assam in Dima Hasao and Karbi Anglong. So this is an illegal mine that CMG also have confirmed about the illegality of the mine. 1 person have been arrested, but the is that the water is rising. The divers, they go up till 35 feet. The NDRF divers could go up till 35 feet, but there they couldn't find anything. The drones were sent inside. The drone could trace 3 corpses floating, but these corpses also have not been taken out. Now they're waiting for the divers from the Navy, Visakhapatnam, to reach and then to continue. They are taking turns. The NDRF divers, then the SDRF divers, they are taking turns going inside searching, but they are fearing that when the miners were actually digging inside the earth in the rat holes, one of the rat hole got connected to a adjoining abandoned mine which was filled with water. So once they pierced into that old abandoned mine, the water started gushing inside, and in no time the entire mine was flooded.
Okay, many thanks, Niloy, for joining us with those updates. Hoping for a certain breakthrough, and so we'll keep coming back to you. But for now, We quickly shift our attention to another breaking news update coming in. This is source-based information from the Lieutenant Governor's office in the national capital, sharing all those details with CNN News 18. We're learning that the Delhi Public Works Department has withdrawn its allotment offer of bungalow number 6 at Flagstaff Road to Chief Minister Atishi, which was initially made on the 11th of October last year. The reason cited is that she did not take physical possession of the residence. So that's the latest bit of breaking news update coming in. In fact, there has been an offer for two new bungalows is what we're learning as well. But I want to go across to Akash joining us with more details. Akash, what more do we know about this withdrawal on part of the PWD?
The official residence of CM has been there in the discussions for so many months. In fact, we remember that how Arvind Kejriwal, after resigning from his post, vacated that particular bungalow. And, an authority slip was given at that time to the PWD officials. And at that very time, this bungalow was allotted to the Chief Minister, the current Chief Minister. And as per the letter, that is, a very official letter. This letter is saying that, the allotment was made to Chief Minister Atishi on 11th of October, and she somewhere accepted the offer as well. But just few minutes back, we saw that how she alleged that she has been denied the residence yesterday and her allotment was cancelled. Yes, this letter is somewhere talking about the cancellation of the allotment, but the reasons cited in this letter are that she never, came physically to the bungalow and she never took the physical possession. Also, it is talking about the ongoing investigation that whenever, you have some government property and if something, additional has been created there or some sort of investigation is going on, then allotment can be cancelled. Further, it has been said that this was not a designated CM bungalow. It was a general pool bungalow for which a time frame was given. And since physical possession was never taken, that's the reason why this allotment has been cancelled. Also, it is important to mention that she has been given an alternate choice as well. This time around, just few minutes back, Bharatiya Janata Party said that she has to decide as to which house she wants to live in. Just few minutes back, she has alleged Aam Aadmi Party leader and Chief Minister of Delhi, Atishi, has alleged that she has been denied the allotment, the official residence. But this time around, we have got these letters, that are the very much official letters. And these official letters are somewhere talking about the reasons why this allotment was cancelled and also the fact that she has been given an alternate choice for the residents.
Okay, very interesting, Akash, because like you rightly pointed out, all of that was heard just few minutes ago from Atishi while holding that press conference. She did send out a message to the voters of the national capital and saying that even if I'm denied my official residence, that will not stop me from working for the people of the national capital. I want to go across to Anshul as well. Anshul, the stakes are back to the face-off between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. Essentially, when Atishi made, big allegations against the central government and said, I'm not being allowed to stay at the official residence, which is with the one which was vacated by the former Chief Minister, AAP Supremo Arvind Kejriwal as well. This is in continuation, and now we have substantiated proof that suggests that there were, a little bit of a loophole that was perhaps not filled in by the Chief Minister when she was taking possession of the house. So what does it tell us about the war of words that had been ongoing all this while?
Well, definitely a lot of politics has already happened on this entire issue over the last few months. But let's put a few facts in order. There is no official bungalow of the Chief Minister out in the national capital. There are a bunch of properties that are allotted to the Chief Minister. Now, as soon as the former Delhi Chief Minister, Arvind Kejriwal, had left from his residence, he had handed over those keys to Atishi. At that point in time, there was this controversy that had also erupted as to how the Chief Minister himself can allot the bungalow to the next Chief Minister. It is the job of the PWD department, and eventually when the allotment happened from the side of the Public Welfare Department, Atishi did not shift into that residence over the past 3 months. Now at least she has not shifted into that residence. Whatever might be the reason, that reason is best known to the Aam Aadmi Party. And now the PWD department has decided that they will offer her 2 other bungalows that could be allotted to her, which is appropriate for a CM to reside in, and hence they have asked her to vacate that bungalow and vacate the that bungalow in which the Delhi Chief Minister was living, that is on 6 Flagstaff Road in Civil Lines, and then vacate 2 other properties in that vicinity itself, in the Civil Lines area itself. But yes, now since the elections are announced, this has given a lot of ammunition to the Bharatiya Janata Party, to the Aam Aadmi Party, as to how they can go ahead and attack the BJP, as to how they are targeting a woman Chief Minister out here in the national capital. Taking that forward, tomorrow the Aam Aadmi Party is going to rake up this issue even further, as they have requested the media, or have invited the media to join them, as they will march inside the 6 Flagstaff Road residence of the Chief Minister, and then will show the media as to what has happened inside. Where is the swimming pool that is being alleged by the Bharatiya Janata Party? Where is the mini bar that is being alleged by the Bharatiya Janata Party? They will all show this. But on the other hand, they have also made this a point that they raise question on the Prime Minister residence as well, as to how the Prime Minister is living in such a massive property, and how the things that are inside the Prime Minister residence that are very, very expensive. And they have also challenged the Prime Minister to actually go ahead and allow the media to see as to what are the things that are placed inside the Prime Minister's residence as well. So this is something that is going to play a massive role in this political war of words that has already started, and over the next few days it is only going to escalate. Tomorrow is going to be very, very important, as the Aam Aadmi Party will try to march towards 7 LKM, which is the highest security zone out here in the national capital. They will definitely be stopped by the police as they go, but this is something that the Aam Aadmi Party wants. This is something that the Aam Aadmi Party would try to get the maximum mileage out of, as they will continue to raise this issue that how a female Chief Minister is being treated by the Bharatiya Janata Party. A sitting Chief Minister is being thrown out from her residence.
You know,
is
Anshul,
something that the Aam
expect
Aadmi
a lot
Party
of
will
drama till the 5th, which is when Delhi will be voting, you know, for whoever they think is deserving of a rule in the national capital. So expect lots to unfold on a daily basis till then. But thank you so much for breaking all those details for us. We now shift our attention to how, in a major overhaul, the University Grant Commission unveiled new regulations with regards to the process of appointment of leaders in higher education. This is in the draft stage right now, but the revised rules provide state governors with increased authority in the selection of vice chancellors, and for the first time allow industry experts and public sector veterans to be considered for the role. This marks a departure from the long-standing practice of exclusively appointing academicians. In fact, according to government sources, if approved without changes, the new regulations will give chancellors greater control over selection of vice chancellors as well. This will likely have significant ramifications for opposition ruled states such as Tamil Nadu, West Bengal and Kerala, where the government and the governor who serves as the chancellor of state universities are currently locked in disputes over the process of appointing top academic positions. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin, in fact, has opposed the move already, and he says Tamil Nadu would fight this legally and politically as well.
Mr. Satishan, the University Grants Commission has come out with the new draft regulations. What we are understanding is that the